What's up, Bobo? Both God Logic and Radar are live. That sucks. I don't be having that much time. That's why I be having to go live, but that really sucks. I see God Logic live right now on YouTube. 2.5 thousand people watching. Hey man. Um Hey Cam, I wanted to run an argument by you real quick. I don't know. Well, it's not necessarily that I don't know if it follows, but I wanna see. That is true. Appreciate the likes though. Keep tapping the screen. Uh, let's see if we could get somebody in here. I am cold. It's cold in this house. But if anybody disagrees or if you have a question, feel free to request that. Pick the throw out. What's the deal, Zay? No, bro. Bro, I'm so tender headed too. Braids be killing me. Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type of I'm on you wouldn't understand. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. TikTok be blocking my lives. Central got fried by Nick. Bro, I didn't get to see all of it. I saw like the tail end of like what happened. And all I was able to really see was like him just pass it off to Anas and then Anas tried to pass it off to Libiano. Uh that was it, like, and then they was just, they were just arguing. He sent me the YouTube getting cleaned up. Mm. Who was Buddy though? Whose live was that? I never been on his live before, and they was over here accusing him, saying that really they accused him of saying that God was like three beings or something like that, saying crazy stuff. Oh, Steven? Okay, but Nick said that he didn't hear that. Bro, it seems like they don't care. It seems like they don't care about being wrong. Like it's not a pursuit of truth, bro. So it's just anti-Christ. And no, he didn't say that. All right, cool. I figured that it was lying. Oh, okay. Yeah, Bobo, you was on the panel, wasn't you? Yeah. No, I feel that, and I respect anybody who just be like, I don't do the philosophy. Like, I don't do the philosophy. Uh, mm.
It was he sent me to YouTube because I saw earlier that Nas guy, he was on some other Muslims live. He was trying to explain and get like questions to like why he was wrong or whatever, why his position is just like outrageous because it's been changing like every other day. But anyway,
Who's Anasis?
yeah. He
What's it? What position?
he has like mentors. And he's author, so, he teaches Salaf, but just like in terms of metaphysics, things just like are either inconsistent with you see with most Salafs take, or like the traditional
Nah, I
view they
don't.
have.
What's
So like like as of recent, not too long ago, just to defeat like not even to defeat logic, just to kind of hold a candle to what logic's, you know, mode of argumentation was, if Allah is not a father, or if Jesus isn't Jesus
appreciate you,
if
King?
God isn't a father, Allah is not a father, then it's inconsistent with what Jesus was doing historically because he called God father.
Yeah,
Bing, bing, boom, boom. Like this argument's been made for I don't know for centuries.
yeah.
So just and that one got a lot of traction from just overall the whole Christian community because he did it so persistently. He started perfecting it. Just just all overall, he just kind of found a whole bunch of ways to stack whatever Muslim came up, typically after, and they addressed that or claim that Jesus is Muslim, which is critical to their religion.
Hmm.
Then boom, like it was over with. You don't really you don't really have anything. You
Yeah.
don't really have anything right there. You break that down, boom, there goes your religion.
Uh-huh.
So just to do like to get some traction going, they just said, well, let's see if we can go to I don't know Ibn Taymiyyah. Let's see if we can go to find some scholars in like a very minority position who say that Allah can be a father.
Mm. Oof.
So
So,
so
but
now
doesn't
now we're
the Athari creed say that like he can't in any sense?
and
Like
then
you can't
yeah,
liken
like
him to
so.
creation in any sense, right?
Right. So you have this interesting conundrum now where yeah, it's crazy because now you have infighting within the Athari community, aside from like fighting with Salafis and Maturidis and Mutazilites and all this other stuff. Now you have a whole infighting within the Athari community of people who are like, yeah, we don't do that. Like we don't do any anthropomorphisms or anything like that. Or they'll say like, well, we can't even say it's metaphorically, or in any analogical sense, say he's the father.
Yeah.
But then you have those who are like trying to bend within the system. Well, I'll just be a nominalist and I'll say in name he's a father, but it's not like any father that we know. Well, then you're just saying a non-cognitive statement. You're not really
Yeah.
saying anything. You're not telling like if you're just telling me it's a father like nothing I've ever seen before, then what does that mean?
Yeah, but that's
What is
the
that? What is that? That doesn't tell us anything. So it's just a non.
exactly.
It just means nothing, right? It doesn't give us any information. There, on what this father is and what it entails. It just means nothing.
But they run into
It's just
that
gibberish.
problem with mercy and justice. It's mercy,
Well,
but it's not like anything that we know, and it's
well,
justice, but
yeah.
it's not like
A lot of times you're gonna see it, and it does depend on how well versed they are. But even if they're well versed and they're strict to the position, a lot of the times you're gonna see a lot of nominalism, right? That ultimately, whatever you're naming or anything like that, it doesn't. Yeah, it makes knowledge of all. Exactly. So that's the point. It kind of just turns into deism. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It just ultimately you're just gonna your final position is just deism. So but in between the whole father thing, because that's where most of this stemmed from, they'll say, well, he's a father, just not like any father we could ever and any father we could ever name of. So I don't know. It really just depends on the Muslim you talk to.
Mm.
So
Hello.
you never really know.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I've just been listening to what you're saying. So basically, what you're saying is that because we take a nominalist position, we can't know things about Allah, is what you're saying.
I don't know what you just said. You
He
said something
said
about a
he
novelist
said
position.
basically you're saying that if they take the nominalist position, then they can't know anything about Allah. Is that what you're
Well,
asking?
it
Yeah,
depends.
yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what you mean. Because I'm just simply stating about what the previous debate was about.
Yeah.
No, but I think host said it as well, no? You said it as well.
No, no, we're talking about a debate.
We're
We
saying
never
a
made a
stand.
positive claim. We're
Yeah.
talking about a debate that's been going on. You know who
No,
God
no.
Logic is, right?
No. So well, you mentioned something about nominalism, and then host said something about how we wouldn't be able to
Because
understand
because
Allah.
we're
Or something
we're
like that.
speaking about a previous debate.
I
Did
know,
you
but
just come in?
I'm saying a specific part of what he said.
Did you just come in?
Yeah, yeah, a couple minutes ago.
Okay, so you don't know what we're talking about.
No, I
Yeah.
heard you
So
talking
here,
about
do
the
you
nominalist
do you
position.
think you could call Allah Father?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
No.
so then
Like
the people we're talking about say that Allah can be a father.
exactly.
Yeah, I know some people do. Like, what's
Okay,
his
so we
face?
were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're not you don't call Allah father, then this doesn't apply to you.
No, but I came up about the nominalist part you said, but that's fine.
We were talking about the context of a pre did what hey Elijah, am I speaking
No,
Spanish?
no, you're not. Bro, we were talking about a previous
Am I speaking
debate.
Spanish?
Yeah,
You
bro, I
you
understand
dis
what you're
you
talking about.
disagree with the people. These people would say that Allah can be called a father, but not a father in any way in which we know the word father. He's just a father in name, but the meaning of that name actually means nothing. Now that kind of thinking gets stretched over to other things as well, but specifically with father, you're just saying a non-cognitive statement because we can't know what father means when you say it.
Why
But
not?
we were critiquing the other positions, different from yours. The other position um
Of
stands.
what this father thing is.
Yeah,
If I say blah 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 blah, does that tell you the meaning or intent of what my statement is?
Oh,
Okay,
it,
that's what we're talking about.
exactly.
so you're saying because some people say, I'm guessing the people that you're saying, they said Allah's a father, but we don't know. What did they say? I
They
don't
say
understand. I
that
don't even
they
know
say
what
that
definition
you can call Allah a father, but they can't define father in any way in which like we would know what father means. So
Or
it's
any
not like
even like a completely foreign to the colloquial sense of father.
Who said that,
Or
by the way?
well, you can. What's his name?
Anas.
Anas and
Enough.
whoever Anas Libiano. You ever heard
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah,
him?
Libyana, okay.
So we're discussing about, well, this has caused some derision within the author community because most strict authors, as we know, at least, from my experience and what I've seen and what I've researched, in no sense is it appropriate to predicate father in the sense that he begets or has offspring in any way to creation. Or, in any sense to creation, to anything of the created order, you cannot predicate him to being father as to say that we're the offspring of him in any way, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
That's
I
that
know
right.
that
So
people follow these positions, but
that's what the issue is, and then you have some of them who are saying, well, no, there's instances where you have some Islamic scholars say father can mean this, but it doesn't necessarily mean offspring. You could just say it in a nominal sense, but what does that entail? This is, and then you have the other Muslims say no, it's completely inappropriate to say that at all. So this is what they were talking about previously, and this is what God logic. This all stems from God logic.
Yeah.
I also think that one of the positions that is that during the time of Jesus and all of the previous prophets, that it could be that they did say it. So that is one of the
You said what?
positions. So the prophets, the previous prophets, that it could be said that for their time that it was okay to call God the Father, but that's just obviously we're agnostic on that. There's no proof for it. That's one of the positions I've had.
Oh, one of the position you saying that one of the positions you've heard is that the previous prophets would call him father because of ignorance.
Not of ignorance, just that I'm guessing it was something cultural or religious.
Well, I
I,
mean, if it's
I
cultural religious, I mean, it's still this issue remains, right?
yeah.
Like it would still be kind of foreign, or they're in your position.
So I'm guessing that your line of argumentation is that since we can't call Allah Father, then it's not the God of Jesus.
Well,
Yeah,
ultimately,
so like
that's what
it's
it
the
would
thing.
entail.
The
It would be
positive, the
okay. Go ahead. I'm
positive
sorry.
claim is stated that Jesus is a Muslim, and the way in which they know that Jesus is a Muslim because they say that he prayed like a Muslim, that he prayed with his face to the ground. And then when we go to these passages of where you get this from, because you don't get it from the Quran, you get it from the Bible of how Jesus prayed. When we go to that passage, he puts his face to the ground and he prays to the Father. He calls God Father. So then you ask the question: can you call Allah Father? And you would say, as you said previously, no, because that's in line with your teaching. No. Therefore, Jesus is not a Muslim because he explicitly calls God Father.
Mhm. So usually when I'm presented with this line of argumentation, what I usually say is that we have a different version of Jesus. So your version of Jesus, we don't believe in.
Yeah, but there
So
would only be, there's one historical Jesus, right? And it's the
yeah,
one
of
who
course.
actually walked around, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Then we
Okay.
will take that our
How
version
did
is
this,
the
how did
historical.
this Jesus pray?
Yeah, like all the other previous prophets,
Like what?
prostration,
How do you know that?
glorification. Because we have the prophets from how we from the Quran and Sunnah and Hadith, obviously.
It
So
does
the prophet.
anything, it does
Right, but
anywhere in the,
right, but he's.
oh,
I'm sorry.
go, no, go ahead.
You good? He's asking. I'm gonna get out of here in like 5 seconds because I gotta get ready to go to the gym anyway. But be good. He's saying he's asking you something about like prior to the Quran. You know what I'm saying? So prior to what the claim of the Quran, which is he's a prophet, and they get this style of prayer from the prophets.
which is what the Quran claims, prior to that, how do you get this information about who Jesus is and then in his, cultural and worship life?
We wouldn't really take external evidence. Our evidence comes from the Quran and Revelation.
Well, prior to the Quran's formation in the 7th century, where would they go to get knowledge about Jesus?
Prior to the revelation of the Quran, yeah, the previous scriptures, the Bible.
Right, right. So, right, the Bible and the church, all right, the church especially too, because there's multiple ecumenical councils prior to
Don't
the canon.
overload him, please.
Bro,
Don't,
I'm just saying,
don't
I'm just
overload
saying.
him.
Let me, bro. That's not even an overload. That's not
It's
even an
going.
overload.
It's
That's not
just
even an
going to
overload.
go down a whole other rabbit hole,
That's
bro.
not overload. That's fair. We're just staying true with the position. That's all. That's all. It'll be your position soon. Don't worry, Elijah. Either way, you come kicking the screaming, bro. I'm
I
just
agree
saying.
with you,
But,
but still, like,
but anyway,
just keep it as
okay,
simple
okay,
as
okay.
possible.
Okay. Point being, these really big meetings that Christians had, which were teaching ultimately what we believe, they would go to that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So ultimately, that would determine what the claims of Jesus, how he lived, his lifestyle, on and so forth, would be. And then for something later to come forward, 7 centuries later, well, for them to make that claim, they'd have to go to the previous scripture, and the previous scripture is completely contradictory to what the Quran is making.
You're
Sure, but I
also
think we
you're
go back
also
to the
saying
point.
you're also saying that the Quran doesn't need to be proven. It doesn't need to be proven true. It just needs to be presupposed that it's true, which doesn't make any sense.
Obviously, for you, I'd have to prove it to you, but I'm saying for me, I don't have
I
to
mean, for
take it.
anybody, if you're in the quest of truth, right? You're looking for that which is true, then this thing should withstand criticism. So if I ask if I ask a question like, how do we know that Jesus prayed like this? And you're just saying, oh, just take it on this thing that came, 600 years after Jesus walked the earth. That doesn't make any sense. Is there
No, so you
nothing?
asked me. You asked me how would I know, and I told you, and I brought you the source that I believe in.
No, you
And
just
then
say you're just saying that, oh,
you,
Jesus prayed like all the prophets.
yeah, because you're asking me, a Muslim. But obviously, if you want me to prove the Quran is true, then that's a different story.
I mean,
Well, I mean, isn't that an essential tenet of the Quran? Like, if that point is false, then wouldn't that invalidate the Quran of its own claim being all true?
If what is false?
So, like, for example, you'd say it's a dogmatic. When I mean dogmatic, it's like a position that's ultimately like that's held to be true by everyone who's Muslim, correct? When I say
rightfully.
that Jesus is Muslim.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say, just hypothetically speaking, if this was falsified and turns out it was not true, then the claim that the Quran makes of the Quran being true would also be false, therefore making the Quran itself false, correct?
Sure, if you're able to
Right.
categorically
This
disprove it.
right. So going down that line, if that claim is disproven, the rest of the dominoes fall.
Okay.
That's all. That's what he's saying.
Okay. Well, I think back to the main point, right? So when you're saying that Allah is not a father, like I said earlier, you're basically saying that Allah isn't the God of Jesus. Is the conclusion, right?
That's where it would conclude. Yeah.
Wait, what do you? Yeah. Wait,
So when
what
you
do you?
say that Allah can't be, so when you say that Allah can't be the God of Jesus because He's not a father, when you're saying this term father, do you mean it in like as a title or as a name, or as like a property that you attribute to Him?
You said, does
I
he
mean,
attribute it to him as a name or as a property?
Yeah. So
are you
what's
saying
what's the
Jesus
factor? Like what's
predicates father
the
to the person of the Father? Is that what you're saying?
no? So like what's the reason why Allah cannot be a sorry? What's the reason why Allah cannot be the God of Jesus? With
Well,
regards to the term father, like are you
well,
saying father
Jesus.
as a name or
Okay,
like
there's
as a
a
property?
couple of reasons. So one, when we go to the first century documents of the people who wrote about the Jesus that walked around, Jesus proclaims himself to be the Son of God, who you would say is Allah, but literally the Son of God, which chapter 19, starting in verse 88, says that that's a terrible thing, right? Like you can't do that. So if Jesus is going around proclaiming that he is the Son of God, then obviously he's not talking about the same God that you're talking about, um, because your God says that that's the mountains rip at the thought of
Sure.
that.
Okay, so it's two things then. So it's the father being the God being a father and having a son is
Yeah.
basically
So
the
the
two
the
things.
thing is that we, and this is also found in chapter 19 as well of the Quran. But we, through adoption, we relate to God, and God is our Father. Me, Zay, those who are united to God through Jesus Christ. God is our Father, and this is the same God for Moses because Moses proclaimed God as their Father. Um, Now you don't have this in Islamic teaching at all. So this you're coming with something completely different. This is the same God that Moses talked about. This is the same God that Jesus talked about. But then when Muhammad comes around, all of a sudden Allah is no longer a father.
So to put it bluntly, basically the God of Jesus, or well, your God is a Trinity, Allah is not a Trinity. Is basically your point,
Mm,
Yeah, but
pretty much.
he's ultimately saying in this regard that through the previous scriptures and centuries and through thousands of years from Christian and Jewish theology and culture, they've always related to God or addressed God as their father as well. And they mean that in the relational sense of being a father. They see a sonship, adoptionship, in any regard, they see that as a real relation with God, whereas Islam does not hold to that tenet in any shape, form, or fashion, traditionally. Now, what we're seeing now, this split of Atharis or the Atharis or Salafs who are saying, well, in some sense it can be. What that entails later, we can get into that. That's what we're talking about. But ultimately, that's just what it is, what we're talking about.
But you know when Jews say that they say Abba Father, right? They don't mean it as like a literal father. They just mean like the
Well,
relationship
ultimately,
thing, right?
how would you know that? Number one, I would
And
say
either way, it
no.
wouldn't matter if he
Yeah.
couldn't be called father in any sense, metaphorically, spiritually,
In,
physically. It wouldn't
yeah,
matter.
and even then, in the Greek itself, Petra, Petra.
He's not gonna follow this.
I'm saying the word. Listen, just
I
listen, bro.
know.
It's
I
very
hear
simple,
you. It makes
bro.
sense to me.
Bro, this is the simple etymology. He understands because the Quran is very, it focuses it focuses heavily on like etymology of language, especially in the Arabic, because it can mean multiple things, and it's very nuanced. So he can understand this. With Greek, the word Petra, like automatically, in virtue of the word itself, like just analytically speaking, is a relational term.
As a relationship.
Yes. So if I say Petra, like for example, my priest, I call him father, and I mean this in a relational sense.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the
Like he's
word,
a
the word, the
carer.
word, the word pet, and he used this term when he's in the Bible, right? So they use all the apostles use this term Petra when they ascribe him or him and his relationship between God and God the Father.
So I guess the point I was trying to make earlier when I asked you is when you mean father, do you mean it as a name, just a name, or as a property? Because the reason I asked just now about how the Jews, when they say about father, they only mean it as like as a relationship. The reason I was saying this is because it's just a title, right? So it's like saying, oh, because you don't call your God Yahweh, therefore it's not the same God as my God. But no, that's not true because it's just a different name. Same thing
Well,
with
well,
the Abba Father thing in the
well,
sense of the Jews and the Muslims.
Well, no, not necessarily, because if I don't call your God Yahweh, Yahweh has, I mean, this is kind of the argument actually. Yahweh, the name Yahweh has specific implications of what that means, what it entails, and the meaning behind it. Also, like the name Father or the title Father, Father itself has specific entailments and, commitments that it has to fulfill in order to be a father, right? And that being a relational. So,
But I
in
think
order
the
to be
thing
a
is like
father,
so.
you have to. The word father entails there's a relationship fulfilled between a subject and another subject. If I'm saying father, and it means no father like we've ever known in in history or ever to know, then well, what does that mean? What does father mean? It's just not saying anything about what I'm predicating to it or what I'm speaking to.
Yeah, sure, I hear that, but what I'm trying to get at is right. So I've asked you personally, like, how come, like, for example, you guys call your God Yahweh and Father. How come, and like, what do you think of that? And how about how Muslims don't do that? And he said, well, it's just the names that was revealed to the Jews. It's a name for the Jews, like the children of Israel. Just because we call our God Allah doesn't necessarily entail that it's a different God.
That's
Hence
not
why
what
like,
Well,
that's not what we're
say
talking
it's the
no.
about.
same God.
No, number one, Yahweh specifically, it means something, that being like I am that I am, like he exists.
Yeah,
Like that literally what he is existence. In the same way, Father has this specific entailment or commitment that because he is Father, he has a relation with either the created order or his eternally begotten Son.
Sure, but again, between the Jews and the Muslims, they wouldn't say that because we don't call Allah Father, that's a different God.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to get at.
well, Jews specifically and emphatically call God their Father.
But doesn't this mean it's this different God? That's my point.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if
Can
it's
you is it allowed for you to call Allah Father? Yes or no?
No, we've been to that.
Okay. The Jews and the Christians both, it is allowable, permitted, and like encouraged to call their God Father.
for like over 5,000 years.
Yeah. So these people, the Jews and the Christians, both call their God Father. They relate to their God as Father. They call out to him. They pray to him as Father. That is not allowed in Islam. Allah does not allow that.
Yeah, we've been through that.
Okay,
So
therefore,
it can't
I've
be.
so
addressed this.
therefore you have the God that the Jews and the Christians praise, which allows them to call God Father, and then you have the God that the Muslims praise, which does not allow the Muslims to call him Father. This cannot be the same God.
But likewise, I'd say the same thing for you, because if your meaning of father is like a literal father with a begotten son. The Jews don't believe that. I would say the
Yeah,
same
they
thing.
do.
Yeah, they
But
do.
what do you mean? What do you mean by literal? Because if I say literal, I just mean that there's an actual relation between the subject and the
No,
subject.
Yeah,
literal as in like
and the son of
yeah.
God is talked about in the Old Testament as well. So
No, what I mean is literal
Israel
from God, like the son
is literally called children of God in the sense of adoptionism.
yeah,
No,
but I mean,
what I
you don't want to go to the Bible, but in Proverbs 30 verse 4, it's literally shows that God, the Almighty, has a son,
yeah, I know, but again, the Jews don't
as
believe
well
that.
as in Psalm 2.
Like distinct. Like, what I'm trying to get is that they don't believe that God in the literal sense that what you believe.
No,
The Father
they
is the
well
literal
literally
son.
the Jewish religion that we know today is something that started around 200 AD after Christianity.
No, actually, the fourth century, bro.
Yeah,
They finished started in the compilation of the time. It started in the
yeah.
fourth century,
No,
finished in
again,
the
but
seventh.
again, that
But
doesn't
no,
define my
because
point.
if you actually go to see what they believed pre-Christianity, you would see that they believe a lot of what we believe.
The
Go to the
closest you'll get is
Targums.
the
Go to
closest
the
you'll get
Aramaic
is
Targums.
If you,
Unitarianism.
I could show you an Aramaic Targum of Genesis 1, and it shows that the word of the Lord was the one that created the heavens and the earth.
The
Like
closest you'll get is
the Mamre,
Unitarianism, but not
literally.
Trinity.
You said what?
The closest you'll get is Binitarianism, not Trinity, from the past Jewish sects. Like I know what you're alluding to.
Yeah, so, but they believe in the Father and the word of the Lord or the Son of the Lord. So, like,
Tried looking. I don't even think that they believe that the Binitarianism, the two powers in heaven. I don't think that they believe that they were
Yeah,
co-equal.
we're not going to the
yeah,
two
we're
powers
not,
in heaven to say that Talmudic Judaism believes in the in the Trinity. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that even in the first century and prior to that, they had a real meaning, a colloquial meaning of what we call Father as to what God is, as to what they say is Father, and to what they say we say is Father. It's the same, but this is foreign in Islam. This is the point we're making.
exactly.
But I don't know why you're saying that they affirm it literally the same way you do. It's not true.
Can they call themselves children of God?
That's not literally. They weren't born from God,
What do you mean by
Can you call
literal?
Allah Father metaphorically?
bro.
Yes or
I don't
no?
know. You
Yes or
keep
no?
repeating the same thing.
Yes or no?
It's getting a bit tiring, but no.
Okay, metaphorically, spiritually,
But
figuratively, you
bro,
can't
again,
call
my
Allah
point is
Father,
that it's
right?
just according to the Jews, it's just a name. That's my point.
Oh,
No, they
It's
don't. They
just like a
believe they're.
name,
that's not true. They literally,
You're saying that.
yeah, that's
like a
not true.
description. Is what I mean.
That's not
A
even true.
description.
According to your Quran, that's not true.
Yeah, of course, there was a sect that believed that with the Ezra. There's a
No,
sect
then
of
you're
Yeah,
God.
what?
contradicting. You're contradicting your previous statement, dude.
I would love to go there too, because that's a contradiction in the Quran as well. But
What about it?
you said what?
Well, I don't. What have we arrived to?
Yeah, but even according to your Quran, obviously the Jews proclaimed that Allah was a father, and
Sure, but not the
they
same.
were
Not the
condemned. They
same.
were condemned for this thing. So like, you're trying to say, oh, the
Bro,
Jews don't
again,
believe the same thing, but your Quran disagrees with you.
look. You believe that Jesus is begotten of the Father from his intellect, from his wisdom. He's the literal Word of God that was generated from the Father's intellect. This is not the same understanding of the Jews. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay,
They
we're not. No, wait. This is crazy. We're not going that far as
okay.
to say that. We're not.
Exactly. So that's what I'm
Hold
trying to
on, listen,
say. So
listen. No,
when they
listen,
say
listen.
that their God is a
Man, okay.
father, it's not the same way that
Listen.
you do.
Listen. We're saying in totality, in whatever sense, whether it be metaphorically, even if it's a virtual, if this is, not even materially, you can't even say materially, but if it's virtual, conceptual, whatever it may be, you cannot reference in Islam God as a father
No,
to
In
I'm
have
not
a
any
denying.
sense,
real
like I don't understand.
ontological relationship
I
whatsoever.
don't know why you keep saying that. I'm
And
not denying. I affirm this. But what I'm trying
okay,
to
Okay,
say,
so
so that
you
brother,
pointing
brother,
out the
it's not the
because of
same
the
differences, so
God.
you pointing out the way in which the Jews look at God as father and the way as Christians look at a God as father, it doesn't mean anything. They still look at God as father, which you are not able to do.
okay.
Either way
Do
to the
you
created
understand?
order.
Can you like steal my position? Like what I've been trying to say this whole time.
Yes,
Oh
you're
man.
you're saying that okay, one, we cannot call Allah Father. Two, the obviously the Jews and the Christians they call Allah Father, but they call Allah Father in a different sense. And you're trying to say that the word Father is just a name. It's not an actual property of Allah, so it doesn't really matter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in relation to us and the
Okay,
Jews.
can you refer to this name that doesn't actually matter? Can you refer
No, I
that
can't.
name
No,
to Allah?
no.
Okay, so it does matter.
In the sense of that it would be kufr, but not in the sense that it's a different God.
Okay, if it's kafir is a different God.
No, not necessarily.
So you can be kafir and talk about the same God.
Yeah, of
Are
course.
we kafir? Are we kafir?
Are we talking about
You're
the same God,
kufar,
bro?
yeah.
Well, yeah, this is good. Are we kafir?
You're
So,
kufar, yeah.
okay, if we are kufar, when we talk about the Trinitarian God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one essence, are we speaking about the same God that is spoken in the Quran?
Nope.
Okay, so then what are you talking about?
Look, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about Jews.
All right, bro. This is. I'm about to leave,
But I was
man.
never bringing you guys into it. I was saying
Leave,
about
I
the
bro.
Jews.
I'm
appreciate
about to
you,
leave,
Zay.
man. God bless, bro. I was just.
Alright.
God bless you, man.
Oh, you still gonna talk to him? Oh, never mind. I was about to say, is he gonna dip? Where am I gonna dip?
I mean,
Is he
he
gonna
left.
dip, bro? I'm gonna
He
dip.
left. I don't think I dropped
Oh
him,
man.
but I ain't have another guess. But
And he proved the point of the argument. This whole interaction proved the point.
inability to reason, bro.
We get what you're saying. This is not what we're saying. It's not what we're saying, bro. We know what you believe. This is not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
tough.
I don't know how logic does it every day.
Yeah.
Personally, I cannot. I couldn't.
Well, you finna
Couldn't
go,
do it.
Zay?
Jim, of course.
Oh, bet.
No, no. Yeah, bro, you gotta get the exhibit braids. I gotta
Nah,
see it.
that stuff hurt my head.
Maybe you just had the twist for like, you
Yeah,
saw. I saw two
the
different
twist
types.
don't
I
hurt.
saw two different type of twists for like in a matter of like 2 months. Like 2 months, you had two different type of twists.
Yeah,
You can get braids though. You can do the exhibit braids for like a hot second.
I had them. That stuff hurt.
I mean, for like the first day, my hair
No,
is. I don't know.
bro,
My hair is
I'm
growing back
tenure
in a month
headed.
now.
That stuff don't ever stop hurting.
If you who does your hair?
Alexis.
Oh, I had a feeling, bro. She can. All you gotta do. She can. What do you call it? Just tell her not to be as like rough when she's like doing the like tri twist or whatever, like pulling it down, like braiding it to the hair. I don't know.
Shoot.
Just if you
I
don't
don't know.
piss her off
She's
prior,
tried.
and then she
Nah,
she
she's
might.
tried. Well, that's the thing. I'm like really
she,
good at pissing
she,
her off, bro.
she might take it as a chance to get some. Just hold still, like the plan.
Yeah. What's the name? Oh, what's the name? Let me run this argument by you real quick. All right.
Oh, and by the way, you said you don't do philosophy, and then you ran the argument for motion. So I don't know. I usually lie like
I don't do a
I
deep
usually lie
dive.
like that. No, bro, like that's the most formal way of doing philosophy, aside from like doing the like in terms of doing formal philosophy, where you do like put in the whole like all the variables like X yada 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 yada.
Yeah.
What you did is another form of philosophy. So no, bro, like you're pretty much deep in the philosophy now, bro. Sorry,
Shoot.
you're a field, bro. Now, what's the
Mm-mm.
argument for it? I'm curious. Where is it from?
It's a nah. This argument is for the Quran. It's like a contradiction in the Quran. Obviously, there's one regarding this first premise, but yeah, I'll see if I can just share my screen so that y'all can see. But I want to try it out, right? So it's no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. Obviously, this is all throughout the Quran. Um, and then I think it's important that we define what this means. So bearing another's burden means suffering judgment, consequences, or hardship due to someone else's actions without personally committed the actions. So I think they would agree that no bearer of burdens bears the burden of another. Adam was judged and sentenced to exile from paradise for his sin, right? And that's in Surah 2, Surah 7. But then Adam's descendants also bear the consequences of his exile from paradise. And if Adam's descendants suffer the same exile due to Adam's sin, then they bear the consequences of someone else's actions.
Mm.
Therefore, it contradicts.
I'm curious if you get a really crafty Muslim, obviously they're always going to go to their interpretation, and I'm assuming, depending on who they go to, which is hilarious. Every single interpreter, you know, like all their tafsir might have a different something different to say, but
Nah, I mean,
we're,
not really. That all they'll say is that this is premise one, right?
mm,
Is in regards to judgment. That's it.
hmm.
When it comes to
Okay.
judgment, you're not gonna bear the sins of somebody else. Cool. Adam was judged, and we get the same judgment. His judgment was being exiled from paradise for his sin. And we, as a consequence of that, are all exiled from paradise because of his own sin. That's what Ibn Kathir says, Jalalain.
Mm,
Like
okay.
Jalalain says, here, I have the link right here, so it'd be
Oh, never mind.
easy.
You got the tafsir.
Yeah, Jalalain here. Control.
Satan called them to slip, and he calls them to be.
So yeah, then oh here, let me zoom in. Then Satan and Iblis calls them to slip. He calls them to be removed, a variant reading. He calls them to be away from it, therefrom, that is the garden, when he said, shall I point you to the tree of eternity? And swore to them by God that he was only giving good advice to them so they ate of it, and bought them out of what they were in bliss. And we said, so obviously the we is Allah, go down to earth, both of you and all those compromised by your seed, some of you and your progeny, an enemy to the other through your wronging one another. And the earth, and in the earth, a dwelling place, a settlement that shall be yours, an enjoyment of whatever its vegetation you may enjoy for a while until the time of your terms of life are concluded. But it very clearly says that their consequence, right? Go down to the earth, both of you, and all those compromised by your seed, some of you and your progeny, an enemy to the other, through the wronging, through your wronging one another. So this was passed down. But they
Okay, so it
don't,
speaks to the future generations through, you know, Adam and Eve, and like all of them are gonna be cursed.
yeah, but they don't have a
Yeah.
concept of like sin being passed down or original sin or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, they take this.
Yeah. And then obviously you have this hadith as well. Sahih al-Bukhari 7515. The Prophet said, Adam and Moses debated with each other, and Moses said, you are Adam who turned out your offspring from paradise.
Mm,
So it's like I don't
mm.
I don't necessarily know, like, how you get around it.
Go
Because
read
if
later
you
there.
if you grant premise one, it's cooked. Because everything else is just like the only thing is like, what does it mean to bear the burdens of another? And that's why I figured that it'll be best to define it.
I would say like guilt, like an inherent guilt. like yeah, inherent guilt.
But they had this idea that every child is born pure, without sin, so they're not guilty of anything.
Sounds
So
terrible.
why are we bearing the consequences? And they might say, because I think in Surah 2 verse 30 it says that like, oh, they were placed there, they were placed on earth to be tested, but obviously Adam and Eve were tested in paradise.
And they were found guilty, so why are we still tested?
In paradise, yeah.
Oh, I actually have no clue as to why. I'm trying to play like, you know, devil's advocate, give him the benefit of the doubt.
Not
Like, okay,
yeah,
maybe
and
there's
I
an
think
interpretation to.
there's so many other avenues, right? Because Adam in Surah 2, I think verse 37, he's forgiven. He's literally forgiven, like Allah forgives him, but he
Because what's the
still
point of
faces the
placing humans on
consequences
Earth
of his
anymore?
action. Therefore, if you think that Allah is going to forgive you and not face any consequences of your action, where are you getting that from? Because Adam was forgiven and faced consequences, and we still face the consequences to this day. So if Allah forgives you, how does that mean that you will not face any consequences? You could take that
Hmm.
road. You could just take the what's the name? The contradiction road. Obviously, all these surahs here, Surah 6, Surah 17, 35, 39, where it says that no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another, it contradicts the hadith that says that like obviously, like, you know, the Jews and the Christians will bear the
Right,
burdens.
and the tafsir makes it clear that it is indeed like the consequences from the first man being Adam.
Yeah,
Mm. I've seen this problem brought up before. I didn't look into it as much, and probably this problem is probably, you know, this iteration maybe have been brought to, you know, Muslims before, and probably this is a area of contention for them when they have to talk about like divine justice and how
that's what I'm
that
saying.
how that works.
That's what I'm saying. How are
Never
you
really thought of it.
reconciled? How are you reconciled back unto God? Because like obviously we know how we're reconciled back unto God.
Right.
Uh, but this is a problem for them. Even if you wanted to look past the contradiction, just the judgment part, it would still be problematic.
You're still getting judged for something that you necessarily didn't do personally.
Yeah. And then
I don't know.
everything that I'm
It sounds like a I don't know, another weird version of like PSA. Like you're getting judged or by God for something you didn't really do personally.
but then
It's just
everything that I'm being judged for, right? That I live on this earthly life, everything that I'm being judged for personally is a result of this person's decisions. Like they say that
yeah,
drinking
like that's not
wine,
crazy.
yeah, they say that drinking wine is not a sin in paradise, in heaven, right? But drinking wine here or alcohol here is a sin. And I can be judged for that, but that's only a judgment that comes based on their consequences that I am now suffering for.
Really, I would say instead of consequence, I'd say like the personal guilt. You know, personal guilt that they had. Then that personal guilt is imputed into you, which you don't have. When
But
you're
they
in
wouldn't
their
say
guilt,
they wouldn't say that they are guilty, but they are bearing the judgment. They're suffering the judgment. I wouldn't say the consequences, but the judgment, because Allah decreed that they be expelled. Also, they get the same punishment as Satan.
oh Jesus, that's
No,
crazy.
like for real, because
That's insane.
Satan gets expelled from paradise, and then Satan sneaks in somehow. This is literally what one of the top seers say. Even Kathir's top seer says that like, yeah, he was expelled from
Jesus.
paradise, but then sometimes he'll sneak in, and
So he
this is
snuck
how he tempted
past
them.
the angel again, or something like that.
You said what?
Yeah. So like he snuck past the because like the Genesis narrative story, even like when it gets into Islam, it's still like I mean, still has a semblance. So I'm curious, like with the angel, did he get past the angel, or did he
That's
got past the angel
I don't know. I
with the
don't know.
flaming sword? I don't
Here,
know.
let me see if I could.
Okay.
Uh, if I could find yeah. So here, this is Ibn Kathir's, right? The majority of scholars said that Shaitan was originally prohibited from entering paradise, but there were times when he sneaked into it in secret. for,
In secret. What do you mean in secret?
exactly. For instance, the Torah
Unbeknownst to who?
stated that Iblis, or Satan, hid inside the snake's mouth and entered paradise. Some scholars said that it is possible that Shaitan led Adam and Eve astray on his way out of paradise. Some scholars say that he led Adam and Eve astray when he was on earth while they were still in heaven, as stated, and I don't know how to say that name. Al-Kutubi mentioned
Of
several
course, to be, yeah.
beneficial hadiths here about snakes and the rulings on killing them.
So there's real rulings on snakes and what they can do to them now. Oh, okay. Well, I see some of the pop cultural references now. That makes sense.
But
That's really interesting to say the least. Snuck back into paradise. And you said the humans were on Earth while they were in heaven?
some some would say, well, like paradise is not like how we know it, like
Right, I know
the
that.
the garden, the Garden of Eden was on earth for us. For them it was in heaven.
It was in heaven, yeah, I got that part.
Yeah. So when Satan gets kicked out, because if you read chapter 7, right, it gives Satan's story first. I think it starts in like I was just reading all of it today. Um, I think it starts in like verse 11. Yeah. Hmm.
Where it
So
talks about Shayateen.
yeah, we created you, talking about oh wait, no, this is talking about uh Satan, so it's probably more, it's talking about Adam. You could start from the beginning though. This is
But
a
just
book
give a
sent
whole
down to
rundown now.
you, yada yada yada. What's the name? Surely, dang, I hate when it does that.
It might not go in chronological order sometimes, you
No, no,
know.
no, no, no. No, I was just, bro, I was literally just reading it. I hate that the Quran is set up like this.
He'll like mention the story. We'll
Thank you
mention the
so
story
much.
for like four ayahs, and then you'll hear it
Yeah.
again like another time, as if it was continuous.
Um, Indeed, we have established the earth and given many good thanks. Surely we created you and shaped you and said to the angels, prostrate before Adam. So they all did. Oh, yeah, here we go. But not Iblis, who refused to prostrate with the others. Right? Allah asked, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? He replied, I am better than he is. You created me from fire and him from clay. Allah said, then get down from paradise. Right? That's his judgment. That's
Mm.
Allah's decree to Shaitan is to leave paradise, right? It is not for you to be ignorant here, so get out. You are truly one of the disgraced, right?
Mhm.
He appealed, then delay my end till the day of their resurrection. Allah said, you are delayed until the appointed day. It doesn't even make any sense. That would mean, hold on, because he says he appealed, then delay my end to the day of their resurrection, or he said, reprieve me to the day when they are raised from the dead before death is issued in, which means that he has foreknowledge as to what is going to happen. So this would essentially be Satan prophesying that men is going to die and that there's going to be a resurrection. So even if
Maybe I
Shaitan,
mean,
you said
yeah, go ahead.
what?
No, no, I was saying like maybe they. I'm curious how they take that if they're saying, well, Shayateen has this prophecy of foreknowledge of the end times or whatever, or what that especially entails. But
If Shaitan does have that though, then the miracle of, oh, Muhammad could have never known these things, you can't exclude that Shaitan could reveal some things to him. If before Adam and Eve ever fell, according to chapter 7, right, before Adam and Eve ever fell, he already knew that they were going to die.
I'm curious.
Yes, I do. Is this the new one?
And that is interesting.
So
That is very interesting, though.
yeah. You said, why would you even read it? All I
No,
said,
no, no.
because I was talking. So the reason why it was so interesting to me is I was talking to a Muslim and I was trying to explain. Light said hi. I was trying to explain to him the reason as to why God incarnated, right? But I was seeing that, like, I thought that our garden stories were very, very, very similar, and he was just like, nah. So I started looking into their garden stories, and I was like, okay, like this idea of redemption and everything is completely taken out from their faith. So what does this mean, right?
Mm.
You know, so that's why I started looking into it. Allah said, you
What
had
was this?
delayed it until the appointed day. He said, for leaving me to stray. He said, and then this is the thing, other thing that he said, for leaving me to stray, I will lie in ambush for them on your straight path. Literally just tells God, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Right. And
I'm gonna do this to them.
yeah. And, and the crazy thing is, right. And on the incarnation, right. Athanasius says that it would be abominable for God to just like leave us to death because of Satan's deception, right? Because we were deceived.
Yeah, he was saying like he makes his proclamation. It would be in some form of
Yeah,
injustice if he just kind of just left us, left us for to eternally suffer. Like putting us out of the garden was actually a mercy because if he didn't, we pretty much would have continued. Imagine the opposite of you mean Saint Athanasius. Thank you, Abraham. Saint
I didn't say
Athanasius.
saint.
I don't know if I maybe I didn't say it. If I didn't say
No,
Athanasius,
he's definitely talking about me. He loves the EOs.
that's crazy.
A-
Abraham, I wouldn't take that personally. Abraham, I
Saint
wouldn't.
Athanasius, the
Abraham, I
saintiest of
wouldn't take that
saints.
personally. But in the opposite, like the opposite of theosis or the beatific vision, imagine if like God or Christ didn't expel them from the garden and they just would have lived forever, like in the state of sin, continuing to worsen for all of eternity.
Yeah,
And we like ultimately insanity.
exactly. Wait, so that he says, this is what Satan letting God know. Hey, I'm finna fuck him up. I'm finna mess him up. My fault. Nah,
I get the sentiment.
nah.
I get the sentiment.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Wait, what did you just say?
She said, with Light having that as his profile pic, how is he gonna beat the allegations of trans baddie?
Hey, that's
Oh,
Lana Del
Jesus,
Rey.
bro.
I'll mess with her songs.
I
Stop.
wish
He
I
said,
wish
that's
I never
Lana
heard
Del
those
Rey. I
words.
mess with her songs.
I, I don't think Lex likes Lana Del Rey.
He
I
said, I
don't.
don't think Lex likes Lana Del Rey. Okay, what's the name?
I think I know why though.
Why?
Uh, her, is that I think I know why you don't like Lana Del Rey. You don't like her.
Why? Say why. He said he think he know why
Probably
you don't know. You don't know.
her recent political escapades.
You like Lana Del Rey?
Well, she's whatever.
Oh yeah,
I
she
don't
don't
think
like
I
her.
don't think she's in my top 50.
Yeah, she don't like her at all.
Oh yeah, you don't like. I've never heard nobody say top 50.
Yeah, she don't like her at all.
So that's crazy. Now, if you got somebody, if you're thinking about top 50 and like, nah, you ain't even about top 50, then oof.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
don't like her at all. Satan said, I will approach them from their front, their back, their right, their left. Then you will find most of them ungrateful. Right? Allah said, get out of paradise. You are disgraced and rejected. I will certainly fill up hell with you and your followers altogether. Allah said, O Adam, live with your wife in paradise and eat from wherever you please, but do not approach this tree or else you will be wrongdoers. Satan kicked out of paradise. Adam and Eve told to live in paradise. So this was the original place of humanity. Some people who would try to refute the argument would say that Earth was the original place that humans were supposed to be in. But obviously, according to Surah 7, like when he creates Adam and Eve, he places them in paradise. And that's where
Right.
they are.
I'm curious. What happens if he doesn't expel them? Because there's an explanation, especially from Eastern Fathers, where you see Saint Maximus Confessor in the Ambigua. He goes through like the whole creation narrative, right? And
Hmm.
he goes through it all in great depth and detail. And then uh, you see a couple other fathers talk about it. John of Damascus speaks a bit to it, I believe. But I'm just curious, like, what are the implications if they weren't expelled? Like, what would happen if they aren't expelled from the garden?
I don't know. I wonder if
I would really
like
like to know that.
what's the stance that they hold if they never eat of the tree? Do they get kicked out? Like if they hold to the stance, because I think in
Like
sort of
like it's necessary that the fall of man is necessary.
yeah, because look at what Adam says in this hadith, right? Adam says, "You are Moses, whom Allah chose for His message and for His direct talk." Hold on.
Bro, why do all PC people go through that with the whole
Bro,
inactivity
I
thing
don't
happening when
know.
the same message goes off? Bryce's computer does it too. I'm like,
I think
bro,
right there it says we have detected inactivity during your complete the verification.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So press
because
X.
I
you're moving your mouse and stuff.
yeah, but Adam said, "You are Moses, whom Allah chose for His message and His direct talk. Yet you blame me for this matter, which had been ordained for me even before my creation." Thus, Adam overcame Moses.
Which ordained me even before my creation. Oh yeah, you're also gonna see there's a it depends again. It depends on who you talk to, but there's a there's a consistent bias of occasionalism within Salaf or just like within Salafi Islam. Like God causes sin like
And they're fine with that?
himself. I mean, yeah, they'll have it. Well, there's a reason for it, X, Y, and Z, but like just a simple fact, a simple statement, like God or Allah is the first cause, directly causes sin.
But how do you
Like He
judge? How
ordains.
do you judge for that though?
That's where the issue is. Like, okay, well, if He's the author of sin in the sense that He directly is the cause of person sinning, but then like He making me sin, but also you judge me for the sin you make me do.
Exactly. Those are what Abe said. Moses, you can't blame me, even though Allah did blame me. Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of it gets a bit weird. Like, okay, I'm not. Like, I don't really know what to say to this. That's kind of just what it really boils down to.
So it sounds like a cool argument.
Yeah. From what you showed me so far, it sounds pretty solid. Especially that whole when Abraham was talking to, like, yeah, you call you making me sin and then judge me for the sin you make me do.
Exactly. It makes no sense. I mean, hey, we gonna see.
Imagine your parents setting you up with something crazy and then giving you the belt right after because you took it. Not even as like a test though. Like you, like I know you're gonna do it. I'm a call it. Like imagining your father, your mother, directly taking your hand and slapping, your younger sister or older brother, whomever, kid in class, and then your mother beating you for her taking your hand and doing that.
It's insane. But I don't think that like I have a feeling like they're not gonna care.
Well, here's the assumption. As you saw with the last guy, you might not make it that far to the point of the conclusion where they really understand it. You get what I'm saying? Because ultimately, it usually boils down to most of the interactions I can just attest to personally, right? Most of the interactions either go to some like just a repetition of their position. They're not explicitly responding to what you're giving them, or they kind of just go off into a whole another substrate or conversation of conversation. It's something completely unrelated to the topic.
Also, I
So you're
wanna I wanna put together like a little test, like a true or false thing, where you just answer true to the premises.
they just might say, yeah, FLEM altogether. I refuse. Like, I got just that might be where it goes. There's been occasions where they really just like, all right, your God has a mom. Like your God wore a diaper, and that's what it'll go to. So, you might get lucky with the intellectual, with with a genuinely smart person who's a Muslim. They can
Uh,
follow the argument and provide like a sufficient answer. But it's like the it's like a 10 to it's like a 10 to 1 chance, bro. It's like a ten
exactly,
to one
bro.
chance. Most of these people aren't looking into hadith and
Okay.
like ayat of this specifically. They're more looking at like how can I look for arguments? Let me go through dawah. Let me practice my dawah.
But that's why I wanted to keep it in like the Quran, like as much as I can, just in case if like it's a Shia. I'd probably rather talk to a Shia than a Sunni.
These are typically that's the issue. Shias are typically
Mhm.
a lot nicer.
Okay. You said Shias
These are
are
yeah,
what?
Shias are typically a lot nicer, or they're more
Mhm.
they're willing to talk more on a genuine standpoint. Sunnis and Atharis are usually the when I say violent, I don't mean like literally violent. I mean just like when you get into an argument, they're argumentative. It's
Yeah,
more aggressive,
yeah,
much more aggressive.
they serious about it.
Or your lives just to jump like 100 people in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not like that no more, bro.
You
What you
know,
do,
what's
bro?
wrong? What's wrong? You did. They did shadow ban you.
You think so?
I don't think they shadow ban them.
Well, yeah.
I don't think they shadow
Bro,
ban
I
them.
I think like when I go live and I try to click it on my other account, cause like on YouTube I have like the TikTok chat on the screen, right?
Hmm.
And I gotta be like logged in, but I don't see my live. Like I have to go to my page to go see that I'm
That's
live.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they done shadow banned you. Damn.
I don't know. I think shadow banning is kind of like not a real thing. I think it's just like algorithm sometimes. Depends on the day. I think it's a time basis thing sometimes. You go early in the day, it might show you to more people. If you go later in the day,
I don't know,
might not.
man. I used to go live this time all the time, and I
True.
have
Yeah,
cool
it is true
views.
though.
But I think they're shadow banning me because I'm streaming to other platforms, and I just don't think that they like that. Because usually when I stream to other platforms, I get nobody. But then if I just go live by itself, then
Like shit, just stop.
so then, so then stop.
I don't know, cause well, that's kind of different. Their logic. I'm like he streams to
But
YouTube and
the
TikTok,
way he
but
does it
yeah,
is he streams TikTok on his phone and then
yeah.
on his desktop. So like I don't think they're picking up
Oh,
that.
you're streaming through Studio, and then you also stream through other third parties through that. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
you could stream third parties through Studio.
Well, I have my OBS virtual camera, which is being used. So like if I were to turn my virtual camera off right now,
Hmm.
you'll see this.
Right. Okay.
So I have my OBS virtual camera, which is showing you like all of this, and then you obviously have like the desktop set up on the other side. But that way, like when I switch my scene or whatever, it's like if I want to
You
show, obviously you have like the desktop my
screen,
screen, it does it on both. But that way, like when I automatically.
okay. That makes a bit more sense. Well,
Yeah.
maybe you gotta get more controversial, bro. Maybe you gotta start rage baiting people. I don't know. You might have to start rage baiting.
Bro.
You're wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Bro, light. Are you gonna do a atheism is false live?
God forbid.
Hell no, that boy,
Why?
he ain't
Yeah,
touching that, bro.
Absolutely not. Like
He
there are
not
things
touching
I
that.
will do. That's just not one of them.
why?
Start
Nigga, hell no.
give him an argument for motion, and then just make him run it.
Yeah, or
Send it to him, and then just make him run it for from his
you
live.
Hey, just run Kalam's cosmological argument.
Hell no, you setting bro up for immediate
You go
failure.
you gonna be in the trenches talking
You
about.
gonna set bro for immediate failure. This caused this cause. So if causes, I mean, nothing can come from something can come from nothing. So God, so God, right? They finna smoke his ass.
Bro.
They finna smoke his ass. What are you talking about?
Mm-mm.
He gonna get the most zesty. He gonna get the zestiest PhD philosopher out there too.
Tell me why, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is something that I have noticed, bro. The niggas that are atheists, the niggas that just like come up to talk are like the gayest people.
Yeah, but they be having some crazy
It's
act.
them
Like
blue haired, golly, I can't even say it on this app, but it's some blue haired niggas.
Wait, what's the objection, Nas? You could type it if you want. You don't gotta come up. But go ahead. Like you said that you be scared that
Yeah, those are definitely my words. Yes, yes.
you said
I
you
said the
fear for
words,
your
they
I
you
am
fear for
scared.
your life when you ask, hey, do you disagree? And they say I'm an atheist. You fear
Yeah.
for your
I'm
life.
petrified. I'm
Oh, okay.
your
petrified.
life. Break heavy man. Nah, worst atheist ever. Like in terms of substance he brings, like in terms of objections, and you can tell which atheists are like kind of going for a show versus ones who have
Bless
like
you.
actual objections to your position
Bro,
and
gotta
trying to
be that
get to the
nigga
truth.
Ian. No,
Uh,
it's that one dude
Ian,
Ian.
Ian, and what's his name? Deconstruction Zone. Absolute trash. Absolute garbage.
Hey, so
De-
Zay, got a question.
what's that?
They called me up to talk to that dude on Lights Live, right?
Which
And
one? What dude?
when I had ran the argument for motion,
Wait, what dude though?
when you was on a live, I can't remember buddy name, but
Bryce?
no, we was both on Lights Live,
Okay,
and
right.
you were supposed to run tag, and he was like, I gotta
Oh,
go.
you were talking about. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he came to the live later on. I was
No,
on
no, no,
Bryce's
no, no.
live. I remember the live. It was a live you went and you argued motion for him. Slim was on there, and then you ran motion, and then that same guy later on. I went live at 7, or I went on Bryce's live at 7, and then we ran tag.
Yeah, so but here's the thing is that you said that you couldn't run tag at that point in time because you didn't have the time. But then
But I didn't.
you stayed for the whole time I ran the argument from motion to him and after.
Oh yeah, I wasn't near my computer, dude. I was out.
Oh, so then you
I
say
just had
that.
my phone. I just had my phone in my pocket.
Okay. And I did listen, I was there at Bryce's live at 7. You wasn't there either.
I for sure was.
You wasn't, bro.
I have the DMs and me and the guy talking. What are you talking about?
Uh-uh. Abe said tag could lead to some type of heresy. I don't even know how to run tag for real. That's why I don't run it. You want to teach?
Um, if you go with the J Diorite version of tag, then you might not get to the specific conclusion of the Eastern Orthodox position. But I'm still perfecting it. I'm still looking because I used to run J Dyer's position of tag, and if they just like reject the first premise, then it's like okay, well, where do you go from there?
So wait, can you explain tag?
Well, it's it's saying it's the objection that if you don't have the Eastern Orthodox position or the Trinitarian God, then you can't make knowledge claims. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like the impossibility of the contrary.
Are you gonna explain it?
Well, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it than that.
No, like tell you like is premise by premise or like
Okay,
what's your justification for this claim?
I'm not gonna go on my computer, G.
So you're not ready to defend your God. Okay.
Don't play me like that, bro.
All right. If you're not
I
ready
can
to
run it.
defend your God, then that's fine.
I can run it. I can run it off
Cause I,
script.
I was sitting there chilling. I was doing my own thing, and then y'all told me to run the argument,
Yeah,
and
bro.
I guess you just wasn't ready.
Because you're a philosophy, bro. That's why
I'm
because
not
you're
in
for the
philosophy at
philosophy.
all.
Yes, you are, bro. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you
Like
are.
what would you do if like in a authentic, honest conversation, somebody come up to you and just say, "I don't believe that God exists." What do you say?
Oh, damn. That's tough.
That's tough. That's tough.
Hey,
Wait, you don't even go for like the historical, like, well, it was a guy named Jesus,
No,
he lived in the first
no,
century.
nothing, bro,
I'd
nothing.
never
Nothing.
go for that. For that specific, I'd never go for that.
All right, so what would you
I
say
mean,
if
like,
you
I
if
mean,
you had
listen,
a if you had a choice? What would you say?
I don't think I'd have a choice in that situation. I'm not gonna lie.
So you'd sit there like somebody like, man, like I want to believe in God. I just don't have no reason to believe. Like I haven't heard any argument whatsoever at all. Like if I heard one argument, I'd go to believe in God.
I don't believe Jesus exists. Why should I believe he exists?
No. Don't let him get out of this thing.
Well, I
If,
mean,
Wait.
okay,
Oh,
so
you're
go ahead.
actually asking me the question.
yeah,
Oh,
If he say that, right? What you say?
they're doomed for it because
They're doomed.
They're
They're
doomed.
doomed. Jesus Christ.
They're doomed. No, so you're not gonna give them no reason. So they be like, hey, like, why do
You could
you
go you could at least say something historical like there's a guy named Jesus. Yeah, you could argue at least
like
from the resurrection, right?
why do you believe?
what do I believe?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know at this point.
You gonna make them fall
Wait,
away,
wait.
bro.
I'm
You gonna
wait.
make them fall away.
How do you be on live? Do you be feeling
I don't.
shaking in your heart when you hear a good argument?
He's
Like
a
Nah,
good host, bro. He's a good host. Like's a
I
good
don't.
host. So.
I don't. But majority of the time, whenever I do hear a good argument, I just sit there and just like, oh damn, fuck. What am I supposed to do?
Who? Wait,
he said,
you
ah
spoke.
damn fuck.
Wait. Elijah, you spoke to Ian before.
Yeah.
I remember
Bro,
like
him
mentioning.
and Ian couldn't
I
get
wasn't there.
past the first.
I wanted to be. I swear to because when he told me about him, like Ian who? And there was an Ian that came into my head, but he's the guy that I follow, so I thought it was a different Ian.
No.
I'm like, what? I'm like Ian. I'm like, who the hell is Ian? Who the hell is Ian? He was like, Ian something. He's like, he goes live all the time. I'm like, Ian. So then finally I went to go look. I'm like, oh, him and Sig were speaking, I don't know, like some months back, but I didn't get to catch it. But I
Oh.
wish I wish I would have saw. But he looked, he just rage quit with Sig. Like Sig, he just rage quit. Like he dropped out. He bought it. He was like,
I
well, yeah, this
think
is ultimate.
yeah, I think I saw a little bit of that conversation.
Ian just like bowed out and kind of was saying what he was saying was jibber jabber and just didn't really address the rest of it. I'm like,
Yeah, with
okay,
me
but
and
I,
Ian, he I was running
how did he find your account? Where how did he find it?
no idea. But he found it all right. And we sat there and we was talking and I was running an argument for motion. We couldn't get past premise 2, which is just like actualization requires an external mover.
Somehow y'all no, and somehow you had an issue. He had an issue with premise one as well.
That change exists.
Yes, he had a
Yeah,
problem
like
with that as well.
yeah, so
Wait, what?
I had
How
to
did you define change or like what was you rejecting about
change
the
would
definition
just
of
be a
change?
thing going from what it potentially could be to what it actually is.
Right, just a change like
The movement from
um
potential to
a s-
actuality.
right a differential of states or movement of states or whatever, right?
You
And he
understand?
just rejected that.
Yeah, he was. I can't even remember what he was trying to argue, but like to reject that premise rejects like all like rationale. Like even if you're gonna try to
Existence.
convince me, if you're gonna try to convince me to change my mind, so like I can think potentially that change does not exist, and you're trying to actualize that potential, it would require that change exists. So like even
So
if you're gonna
him arguing that change doesn't exist would make it that so you can't believe that change doesn't exist.
yeah, so then he was like, all right, fine, change exists, and then it was like. Because when we're talking about change, we're talking about the actualization of potential, where it's like, all right, um, actualization requires an external mover. And just to keep it simple, I just use the analogy of
Press a clock.
a wood, like wood. A piece of wood has the potential to be hot, but in order for this potential to be actualized, something that's already hot, like fire, needs to actualize that potential. Right? It's moved
Hmm.
from something outside of it. And then he was like, well, like what about my hand? And I was like, your hand has the potential to move and it's like actualized by like the wrist or whatever. And it goes back. But we're talking about like a hierarchical causal chain. And he was like, well, it goes all
Hmm.
the way back to the mind. And
Well, that's what the other guy was arguing for. He was like, he was arguing for like, what was it? Not quarks, but he was like when the neurons in your brain or something like that.
Were you talking about with me and Danny and
No, no, not Danny, the other guy, that was up here on Lights Live.
like yeah, what's the name?
Yeah, remember him because he was like, well, neuron. No, in the not Danny, but there was another guy, the black guy.
Who was here right on my
Yeah,
live?
he had the Moroccan flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He
him. He
started
was
talking
going
about like
back.
quirks or something
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
talking about exactly. He was talking about corks or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
I was like, bro, how many times do
he
I
was,
have to run this argument today? Like that actually pissed me off.
but no, go ahead.
Oh, what's the name? What
Ian.
Ian was saying, he was like, yeah, that goes back to the mind. And he was like, what do you say like actualizes the mind? I was like, I don't really care like what you say if you want to say neurons. And he was like, well, that'll be a problem because your God doesn't have neurons. So,
That's
but
what the other guy said. You remember that? He said, he said something about I forgot what it was
when Abe was
principle of
explaining,
potential causality or something like
yeah,
that.
proportionate
And he was like,
causality.
well, yeah, proportional causality. He was like, well, God has it. Ultimately, the premise was just like, well, God has existence and God gives us something that we don't have, which is existence. And from that, we can, he was like, we can have like, I forgot what the rest of it was.
Yeah,
Whatever
and
follow
when
from that.
Abe was failing and trying to show him that it was personal, that this being was personal. No, but I'm just playing Abe. I'm just playing. But I don't want no problems, no smoke. Nah, but
Yeah, because you're
uh
trying to get how do you get intentionality of your will or something like that.
yeah, so that because that's the I don't know if you remember, but when we was on Lights Live, that's what I said to the dude, and the dude kind of
Hmm.
understood. But this dude
Hmm.
starts taking it way further than necessary.
Yeah.
With Abe, so I tried to present another argument, and then he was like, "Bring Danny up." I felt so bad for him too, because he was like, "All right, hey," he said, "Bring Danny up." Danny come up, and this dude is obviously a huge fan of Danny, and he wanted to impress Danny so bad.
Oh,
And
he was fanning.
oh, bro, he wanted to. He's like, Danny, please give me
Oh,
a chance. I think I can articulate it.
no
And he
way.
tried to articulate whatever Danny was saying, and Danny was like, no. And and he got so mad, he ended up dropping. And I was like, oh, I think his name was Hatim. I was like, bro, like,
The
don't feel
team, yeah, the
bad.
team.
Yeah, I was like, bro, don't feel bad, bro. You did a good job. And Danny's like, yeah, bro, you did good. Don't do that. You didn't see that? That stuff
Nah, I
was
didn't get to see that part
hilarious.
either. I
Hatim
didn't get to
ended
see that
up
part either.
Hatim ended up dropping after that. He was pissed. You could tell he was hot.
I saw when he called for Danny. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
see
remember
that
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 dude.
interaction.
Dude that
That
had his
Serious.
camera on, right?
you said what?
Talking about the dude that had his camera on.
Cameron had a
Yeah,
beard. Yeah, Cameron had a beard. Him.
Yo, yo, bro, like he broke down every question. Like,
Every single thing. He went to court. He went to court there and all, bro. I'm like, courts,
bro.
bro? Are you serious? Like, he was like, the issue was this. He went to courts, but courts was still subatomic. It's still material.
Yeah. And that's the
Like,
thing. That's the thing that like was pissing me off when I was trying to run the argument of like a non a being that has no intellect, no will, and like necessarily produces.
right.
And
There was no other way they can not produce this thing like the fire. It can only produce heat. It can't produce ice or cold,
yeah,
right?
like it can't choose between different possibilities. And there was that's all that I was trying to say. And it was like, well, what about this mechanism, like a machine that only produces random numbers? And I'm like, this machine is material. It's designed in a specific way. Like already, it doesn't account for to be the unmoved mover. But then on top of that, I asked Danny. I was like, bro, like, can this machine produce a letter? And he was like, no. I was like, is it always going to produce numbers? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, because the thing that it produces necessarily follows. And he's like, yo, but the numbers are going to be random. It's programmed
Okay.
to produce
Okay.
random numbers. Like, it cannot do anything different. And that's all I was saying. Like, but he was saying that, oh, the number 9 appearing at hour 3 is not necessary. But the thing that is necessary is that it produces something. It produces a number. It cannot not produce. Therefore, if God is this thing that produces random numbers, the creation of numbers itself and it being produced every hour is necessary, dependent upon this being. It cannot be otherwise. whether these numbers are random or not doesn't mean anything. That's all I was trying
It's
to
not gonna
say.
right. It's not gonna produce the number. It's not gonna produce a color blue. Otherwise, anything like
Yeah.
that. So he wasn't he wasn't understanding that. I see now the Ian guy. Why was he just rejecting the definition of
Oh
change?
no, so Ian was like, oh, what's the name? Your God, your God doesn't have neurons. So like me moving my hand, if I trace this causal chain back, it like ends in the neurons. Which one, it like that means he affirms. I think it's like premise 3 or premise 4 that um like an infinite regress of hierarchical causes is impossible because he understands that me moving actualizing the potential of my hand has to end with something which he says is the mind. He was just equivocating and saying that, oh, well, if the mind is the thing that actualizes potential, but it is in no way moved in itself, right? Then and the thing that actualizes the mind is the neurons. Your God that supposedly has a mind does not have neurons. Therefore, he cannot be the unmoved mover. That's what he was saying.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
So he
know.
was saying like prior. It's like prior to the mind is the neuron. It's, this neurotic state.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
the
he was
neurons
trying to
themselves.
say. And then we sit there and we argue and he was like, unless you're trying to say that like change or movement is just the actualization of potential. And I was like, bro, I already went through those things and I was already impatient that day. Like I didn't eat. I was irritable. It was late. So I just dropped them because I was like, bro, like you're doing this on purpose.
You're being a jackass on purpose. Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
that made me,
Nah,
that did make
that
me
would have set
upset.
me up. I would have ended the whole lie. Like
I
fuck
wish
that.
I wish I
Yeah,
didn't
I would
drop
have ended the
him.
whole lie about that.
I wish I didn't drop him because like I think we could have went further after that, but I was just so upset. Like at me defining very clearly what like is meant by change and movement, and he says yes, and then he goes and acts like this was never spoken about.
Like you never heard the first premise in the first place.
The
Like
Yeah, exactly. The Deante and Essentia, like the difference
yeah,
between essence and existence. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about, right?
crazy. 5 minutes over my
We
time.
didn't we bring that up in talking to a team that like your essence is different from the fact that you exist? Yeah.
I think he brought it up because he started to conflate some things or started to equivocate on a few things, and
Yeah.
you're trying to communicate to him like, oh yeah,
And
you sure
what,
did,
yeah,
because you're
cuz
like, what, like
he
yeah,
had to
exactly.
define what pure existence is.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like, he was like, you exist, but you having existence is also distinct from that.
Yeah.
And he was trying to conflate the two, and he didn't understand that.
Yeah. And that's the thing with the argument from motion is that one, you kind of have to know a little bit of a lot. Like I don't even know a lot. Like I don't know more than 8. Um and then you have to be able to articulate it to somebody who doesn't know it at all.
That just
Uh
comes a lot with
Hey,
reading,
so
honestly.
that's the question I want to ask, right? So like, I was listening to this one dude, and I think like before, like his objection was just like the actual states of being, right? Like just potentiality and actuality, like in general. So like, dude's objection was essentially like, at what point is like potentiality and actuality like differentiated? Like, and so I think the example he used was like at what point will you describe like a seed turning into a sapling? Like,
mhm.
or I think there's also like a paradox of like a heap of sand. Like if a heap loses a grain of sand like every minute or something like that. It's something weird. I want to say he's like a Hegelian, but he essentially just negates being as like a real thing in general.
But he
Wait,
rejects
So
he
any
negates
states of potency.
being? What does he define being as?
I think for him like being would be considered like Cam just said what the paradox name is. So I think for him being would
Sorites
be like
paradox?
pure indeterminacy, if I'm not mistaken. So
Pure
like
indeterminacy.
being would be like essentially like equivalent with like nothingness, if I'm not mistaken.
Being would be nothingness?
Yeah, bro. I kid you not, man. I think I heard this dude talking like a month ago.
Does he claim
Yeah,
just like it's
Bro,
pure
let me see if I
chaos?
can,
Is that what it is?
I'm gonna see if I can find this dude name. Zay, hold on, because I think he posited this argument with G1 and a couple of his couple of people on the panel.
yeah, that's exactly, Justin. Because being would be like existence or that which exists. It's in pure nothingness. Literally lacks being.
Can you make any
So he just
positive statements at that point?
yeah, he's just positing a completely different definition.
Wait, like I'm saying, if you're saying you're nothing, like you don't have existence, you have being, which is the complete opposite, like Justin's saying, you can't make positive statements then, can you?
No, I mean, well, no, you can't. If nothing, because nothing has no potential. It has no attributes. It's nothing. Like
Like you're
it.
saying nothing. You are nothing.
Are you saying that to me like a curse or something? Like,
No, no, no.
like,
Nah, watch out, bro. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. I saw your face change, bro. Watch out.
Now, see why, and I see you can get under people's skin like that, but that's crazy.
Hegel's science of logic.
Yeah. I just dropped the where he got it from. I don't know like the actual book chapter verse or if there isn't anything, but that's essentially what he is. But it's weird, bro. So he's basically just saying like pure being is like undifferentiated from like pure nothingness, right? So like since pure being and nothing coincide, then they both have no content or determination. So
Yeah,
like
I would
this,
need to. I would need to hear the justification for that because those are two completely different things. Like, so
yeah,
I'm confused as to, and this is what I know that like Thomas Aquino. I think Abe would be better to talk about it than me, but we wouldn't. I know one thing is that we wouldn't say that potential is like non-existence or non-being. But if he's saying that being and non-being are the same thing, that's just an incoherent statement.
correct, yeah, and I didn't get it either, but he did drop that. That was the information that he dropped. But I think his biggest contention was like the transitive state, right? So like his biggest contention was just from potential to actuality. So like he just kind of posited some sort of like super duper ambiguity with just saying things are going from potential to actuality. So he just would posit that like things are always in some sense of actuality in a sense, right? And
Mhm.
I want to say like I think Aristotle was talking about like inertia and like dunamis would be like equivalent to like potentiality in a sense, but there's like this in between state where it's I think he called it
You're
kinesis, if
saying
I'm not mistaken.
dunamis being a potential of power.
Correct, yeah, but then there's like another state between dunamis and inertia, which would be like kinesis, if I'm not mistaken, where kinesis is kind of like this process of becoming.
Oh, we're talking about energy in the okay, my bad.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
My bad.
honestly, I don't even know if it's necessary for you to go into that. Rather than the thing that you're arguing is that this transition takes place now. Like I don't even think that you necessarily need to define, oh, at what point does a seed become a sapling or whatever. It's the fact that the seed eventually becomes a sapling, because some people will try to argue an infinite regress of potential, but that's not what's being argued. And what they mean by this is what Edward Fazer says, the thing from going from potential to actuality is not like, oh, 0.1% and then 0.001% or yada yada yada, and that transition is just the fact that it goes from one state to another state. um
Mm.
so it's
And,
not necessarily that, oh, we need to define at what point this takes place. It is
and
the
determine
fact
what the
that
state
this,
is.
yeah, it is the fact that this seed goes from being a seed to being something else. Now this seed, as it, like if it was in my hand, has the potential, if the conditions are met, to become a sapling or to become a tree, right? If the soil permits and the sunlight and the water and the nutrients, whatever, it has the potential. Now it relies on other things to actualize that potential. And if you're going to deny that change, then you'll be denying the first premise. But if you're saying that, oh, I don't understand at what point this happens, that's not necessary.
You're arguing
Because
for change
you're already
regardless.
arguing. If you're arguing you don't know at what point this happens, you're already conceding that
Admitting
it
that,
does
yeah, that
happen.
change, yeah.
Actually having it.
You're already granting the fact
Yeah,
that change happens. And you're
absolutely.
going
Yeah,
from one state to another. So going to haggle over the semantic of what point is the change is irrelevant.
Yeah.
yeah, I would
And
agree.
to Nas's point, yeah, kinesis, it's just it's just the same, it's the movement. It's the movement. So in energia, kinesis, then dynamis or dunamis is the energy, the movement or the motion, and then the power, or in the actualization of that. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, but
Yep,
and I
that's
think
exactly it.
that's the thing that I remember when I first came on here, and when I first learned the argument for motion, I was like, this is an amazing argument, but I didn't understand it at all.
Mhm.
So bro, when I first went live, they sent TikTok sent at me every hardcore atheist possible. And I'm
Mm.
talking atheists that go live regularly. Like Jordan was like, I don't know why they're doing this to you. So I was in, bro, I was in all types of conversations.
I honestly think it was the devil. I low-key like believe it was the devil controlling the airways to send these people at you. I'm not
Bro,
lying.
so then
Hey,
after,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
where do
lie.
you put my boxes?
in the closet, in the back, the boxes of the things.
I think the devil was trying to discourage you from going forward with that argument and to like not keep you adamant to knowing what it is.
But I was
I
like, okay,
honest
I
to
need
God, I
to,
think that's what it was.
and they did the exact opposite because I was like, all right, I need to understand because Jordan, he would just, I can't stand him. Jordan would be in the comments and he's like, that's not what the argument from motion is about. And I'd be like, help me. Like, it would piss me off. I would go on another person's live and Jordan would be on a panel helping them. And then when it came to me, he would sit there in the comments and just talk mess.
No, he just liked to watch people suffer, bro. I don't think you understand that.
Bro,
Like
yeah, he,
when I first started going live, or like you're trying to run some argument or whatever to prove a point. I'm like, I wouldn't start right there. Me personally, he about to get killed now. He about to get ran down.
yeah, nah, that's messed up. By the way, the Miami Heat are finalizing a deal that will send Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins
You're
and Dennis
lying.
Schroeder and
You're
Kyle Anderson.
lying.
Swear.
You're lying. I don't know
Oh
why I'm
God,
saying you're
damn,
lying,
this
but
is
we
straight.
just
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I'm not saying like you're lying as if like we just didn't see Luka go to the
I
Lakers or
know.
whatever. Like anything's possible. Nothing matters now. This is all fake. This is stupid.
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
But so one of the things that I needed to understand was, all right, what is the argument for motion talking about? Because everybody would take it every other way. Like the one dude who came up, I think his name was like Piper or something. Big John still ended up crashing out on Piper.
Piper.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
he's
think. Piper.
some atheist. He was here. I haven't seen him since, but I don't be in atheist
Never.
lives.
I've never seen him, but I mean, I've been in a few atheists. I'm trying to think who's Piper. I know who.
God bless you, George.
I know who Monkey Boy is. I've seen Monkey Boy, but
Monkey
Monkey Boy
Boys.
he gets really aggressive. Like I've seen people give some pretty good arguments, or like their form of argument was pretty good, and then he just gets like really pissed off and just kind of started cussing them
I
out.
never want to talk
Kind
to
of started
Monkey.
going to Christmas.
Monkey Boy has been in here because you know the atheists they come in waves. So like
Yeah,
when you start talking to an atheist, like 60 of them,
their followers typically or their algorithm typically lines with yours.
man. I sit there, I be talking to atheists, and they be like, it say on the thing, it say Monkey Boy joined, and I'll be like, I hope this dude don't request. I am not finna talk to this dude. Like I'm gonna have to because I can't duck. But I'd be like, bro, please don't request that. But wasn't it? I was sitting there, I was talking to this dude Piper, and he was just positing an infinite regress, and I didn't understand like what a hierarchical causal chain was or anything. So I was like, everything depends on like this time, pretty much. And then all Jordan would say was, it has nothing to do with time, A or B theory or anything. And I'd be like, bro, can you explain it? And he'd be like, nah. I remember one time he did like partially explain the argument de essentia in the back seat of my car, like for 15 seconds. And I was like, bro, I didn't understand. I asked him the question twice, but then after twice, when I still didn't understand, I was scared to ask because I didn't really know him well. Um, but I think the thing in running the argument from motion is just making sure that everybody stays on topic. Like, all right, for sure, Nas. Just make sure everybody stay on topic. Like, if they want to talk about infinite regress in regards to time, that's not what we're talking about.
Relevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant at all. Oh, at what point in time does the seed go to the sapling? That's not important. That's not what we're talking about. And just
Saying
trying
state
to
changes, bro, and has potential, and it changes nonetheless. It goes from one state to another state. This is what we're talking about.
that's it. And like if they grant that, then essentially like everything else follows. Um, it's just the fact that change. Oh, like what about the origin of the universe? Like even if I were to grant um the like infinite universe, even if I were to grant that, the argument for motion could still stand because the universe experiences change. Um, and the fact of the unmoved mover is that, at least this is what Edward Phaser says, is that there's a sustainer of these things. So it's the fact that if anything in this causal chain higher than it ceases to exist, then everything below it ceases to exist.
Right.
Like the lamp that is hanging from the chain from the ceiling, right? If I cut in the middle of the chain, everything below it ceases to exist, or that potential ceases to be actualized. Which is why it goes into the argument de essentia that there's nothing about the universe that necessarily exists, and nothing about you that necessarily exists. So if God in this scenario, let's say that God is the ceiling, if the ceiling were to collapse, everything that it's holding up would cease to exist. He is the necessary being that which sustains all things. That's necessary to ground so it doesn't go into infinite, regress.
Aggression. Yeah. So to get to that point, here's the thing I've noticed they like to do. Instead of granting you like the premise, even though they might not necessarily agree with it, but they don't have an argument against it. So they'll be like,
Mhm.
I don't really have an argument against it, but well, if you don't have an argument against it, then grant the premise, like the other guy was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're like, okay, like do you like what's the contention with the argument and what do you have to say against this premise? Well, I mean, I agree, but I'm just gonna like, okay, now let me just turn into like a epistemic analysis. I don't really know anything.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything. All of a sudden, I can't tell what from what. It's a cowardly move.
I think so too. And it just comes from the I don't want to accept God at any cost. That's all it is. It's just not God though. Like even the dude is like, okay, I'll grant the first mover. Right?
You're
So
like, yeah, bro, like you're at God now. Like you're at the point of deism. Do you understand this, sir? Like you've left atheism.
yeah.
You're at deism now. You're almost a complete theism. I hope you understand this.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
wasn't getting that. He was like, well, I'll grant the unmoved mover, but like, okay, well, now you're at the point of some theistic existence. So, like, I got you off your box.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh well, this thing is not personal. Like this it's like, bro. And I think that Abe's argument of like proportionate causality or the principle of
That's what.
proportionate causality, that's a more than sufficient enough argumentation. The fact
Yeah.
that like because an effect cannot like exceed or precede its cause. So the fact that you have intellect and whatever causes you does not have intellect. Like obviously a rock didn't cause you. A rock does not have intellect, right? That which has intellect causes you, which enables you and gives you the ability to have intellect.
Yeah, because the whole thing was like, well, yeah, it was specific. Like he was like, you were telling him that God has intellect, and then God gives us existence, and then in that we're able to have intellect. The Hakim or Hasim guy was like, he didn't understand the existence part. Like he was not understanding that God gives us. He was like, well, what physical does God give us? What physical does God give us? God doesn't have neurons, so how is he giving us like does God have quarks? God doesn't have quarks, so how is he giving us quarks? You're like, no, God has existence, therefore existence and physicality is the lowest form of that existence. So therefore we are physical and we have intellect.
Yeah.
He did not get that whatsoever. He did not get from the existence. Like he could not understand the existence that the existence that we have is the lower form of existence. That the physical state is the lower form of existence that we have. But we got to existence prior to the physical state. He was like, God doesn't give us neurons. God doesn't have neurons, so he can't give us neurons. He's not physical, so no physical. I don't understand.
That's what I
I'm like,
wanna. I wanna
I'm
put
like,
it together, like the personal aspect. I want to put it together in an argument that is just easily able to be followed. Because I think
bro, but it gets no easier than that. Like honestly, when you were going through that, I don't understand what he wasn't getting. I wasn't trying. I'm not like I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything like. But I'm serious. I don't understand what he was not getting from that point, from the portion of causality.
yeah, not me either. It doesn't make any. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe I'm coming from a different background. Like I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I swear. Uh, but it's just like I don't
Because at
understand.
some point, yeah, at some points he seemed like he was intentionally trying to understand. He was like,
Yeah,
but he doesn't have neurons. He was like completely baffled. He was like, I don't get it. Like God doesn't have quarks. He doesn't have subatomic particles.
and but that's the
So
thing is
how
that
do we
like
have brains?
I hate when I'm talking to a person and I give them the argument for motion and they're like, oh, like we could have skipped all those other premises. No, we couldn't have
No,
because
because you wouldn't grant me to where we got now if we didn't go through all that,
yeah,
and then you'd be able to recant everything I just said previously
and when
if I didn't
you
get you to agree to it in the first place.
exactly and when you grant that there's a first mover, you're granting that there is this being that does not have any potential, right? There's no potential that is actualized external to him. That which is material has potential. It has
It's
potential to be moved. It has potential to be
exactly.
rearranged or to cease to exist in the material. Whatever. It has potential. So
Either way, it can go
this being,
from a state to a state, and that's the whole point.
yeah, exactly. God, dog. Oh,
Yeah,
God,
man.
dog. The
What
Warriors
else?
are, ooh, I almost said the word. The Warriors are idiotic. I almost said the word.
He wanted to get out anyway, bro. They wanted to get rid of
Yeah,
him.
I know, but they gave up like everything.
How many picks they give out?
Nah, they gave up Andrew Wiggins. Josh Richardson ain't even going to them. He going to Detroit. They gave up Lindy
Hmm.
Waters. They gave up Dennis Schroeder, Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Lindy Waters, and the other dude that I said. Like,
Richardson's going to they wait. Who did Detroit trade for Richardson?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
That's what I need to know.
Oh, I forgot that you a Detroit fan.
Yeah, bro.
Nah, it just says that Josh Richardson is headed to Detroit. It don't
We
it don't
must have
say.
gave up some picks. If we gave up Jalen
You
Duren,
think so?
obviously I know we didn't. Absolutely not. I know for a fact he's been on a tear. They've been on a tear recently. I know what Ivy went down. We still have Cade. Cade been snapping.
Saying
Cade
we
is a
to the Detroit Pistons is crazy as
Cade.
hell to me.
Cade is a who's your team?
Saying,
What? Like Clippers? Clippers are who?
bro, we could get down
Clippers.
for that,
Clippers
bro.
are who?
Bro, Lakers, what you mean?
Okay. All right. Well, casual, but whatever.
Oh,
Especially
oh, you
casual.
guys are six. That's very impressive, bro.
They're and the Jaden Ivey went down. He has like some knee injury or something like that. Cade is a hooper. Like I'm like Cade himself is a hooper. Like no flopping. Like he's a hooper. He'll drop 30 pure hooping. Doesn't seek for free throws
That's
like
fact. That's fact. I'm not taking that
Shy
away from him.
Gillis. Like he's a pure hooper.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take that away from him. He's really hooping this year too. He an all
But your
star or no?
team, I'm not sure actually. But your team is I think your team needs to I don't know. I think they need to get deported to El Salvador personally. Like I'd call ICE on your team,
We're fifth in
your
the
front
West.
office. Okay, well, you're making illegal moves. Your front office is full of illegal aliens, so I think I have a right to call ICE to send you to Guatemala or send you to El Salvador because what you guys did is absolutely illegal. There's no grounds or basis for the nonsense that you guys are committing at this very moment. There's no I
Hating.
honestly, I designate you as the T word because this is absolutely atrocious.
Mm-mm. Hating. My team is the Lakers. I've been like that since forever. 'Cause I was a young one.
There's no reason why he should be on your team. This is not fair.
It is.
No, it's not.
It's dumb of the
No.
Mavericks. I'll give you that. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so it's obviously that they're colluding or something with some. I think you guys are
I think Luca was
supporters
having
of the China Communist Party. That's what I
nah.
think
I
you
think
guys are. This is what this
Luca
is.
had to be having relations with like Nico Harrison's significant other. Because Nico was
It
like,
had to be the case.
yeah, Nico's like,
Maybe
we're getting
did
him
they
out
have
of here.
like did they have blackmail on him or something? Like what was it?
And then
What was it?
he said he only approached the Lakers.
Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Get out
I
of
love
here.
it.
That's nonsense. You're gonna
Yeah.
tell me how many teams in the league? 32 teams?
Hmm.
And all the 32 you went to the Lakers.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah, get out of here.
help get LeBron his
I'm
last ring.
I'm looking for I'm bringing up charges of espionage,
I can't,
embezzlement, fraud, something, dude.
bro. I can't believe all this time we only got one guess because of the conversation that we was already having. This is crazy to me. This is insane. It's been an hour and 46 minutes. I got one guess, and I'm not being shadow banned.
They might have you. Feds might have got you, buddy. Feds might have got you, my boy. Sorry
That's
to say it.
insane.
I gotta go to the gym, bro. I stayed here for. I'm usually at the gym by like 8:10.
It's 8:30.
I stay. That's 8:30, brother. I mean, the gym down the street, but jeez, playing on my time, man.
Go ahead, bro.
Anyway, I'm gonna be watching. I want to see atheists come in though.
Nah, chill.
Cause bro, you be like you can break folks down with the argument from motion easily. Like honestly,
Chill.
I think if Light sat and read it and did his due diligence to study, he'd be able to run it.
Yeah, he said we supposed to go over it. That's on me.
He's supposed to go over it. No, make him go over it. Like press him to it.
Yeah.
Make him go over it.
He always
Don't let
say
him
he's
run
like,
for that,
oh,
bro.
we gonna do Bible study. We gonna do this. We gonna do that, and then he don't be showing up.
Nah, bro. Get on this case.
Yeah.
Make him go over that argument.
Nah. Yeah. I do wanna sit down with him and have that
Hey,
one.
listen, everybody in the comments from now on in his live, make him go study the argument with Elijah. From now, just bring it up constantly. Harass him about it.
Yeah. He not like, bro. He shouldn't be just walking around, just not one argument, not one.
I'm baptized and out here crazy. Nah, bro.
You gotta
Nah,
lock in
bro.
on this argument.
I'm saying you gotta like
Peter, what's your favorite
lock in on
argument?
something.
What's your favorite
Go ahead,
argument
pal.
if somebody asks, "Are you out, Zay?" Oh dang! All right. Peter, what's your favorite argument? If somebody like, "Hey, I don't believe that God exists." Ooh, answers in here too. Answers. What's your favorite? What's your favorite argument if somebody asks, or if somebody say that they don't think that God exists? Dennis Schroeder is headed to Utah and Kyle Anderson to Toronto. How many teams was in on this trade? Peter not going live is a travesty. I don't see how the argument for motion establishes God. Are you Christian? Do you want to come up? If you want. Hello?
What's good?
What's good, man? Are you Christian?
Nah, I'm not Christian.
Are you atheist?
Like agnostic.
You've been in this live this whole time just listening to us talk?
Me?
Yeah.
Nah, I think I was in here earlier and I said something. Saw you were talking, moved on to another live, and then I got back while you were ending it off.
Oh, but alright, for sure. So you want me to run the argument for motion for you?
Yeah, you could run it by me.
Alright. So the argument from motion or the argument from change, we'll just define some terms before we go into it, alright? Alright, so motion or change is the process by which a potential becomes an actual thing, or something moving or shifting from what something could be to what something actually is. Alright, that's what we mean by like change.
Okay.
All right, so something moving or shifting from what it could be to what it actually is. So we'll use this analogy because it's just the easiest analogy. Um, a piece of wood, right? It has the potential to be hot and burn, but for this potential to become reality, something that's already hot, like a flame, must act upon it. In other words, the fire actualizes the wood's potential to burn. All right, so that's what we mean by like change.
Okay, actualizes the potential.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. So here, premise one is that change exists.
Um, what about like with like you know how some people
Yeah.
think like all of time is like one block?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to have like you can't have that view of time if you think change exists, or would it still exist in that view of time?
It will still exist in that view of time.
Okay.
Because you're
All right.
either way, you're saying that there is a difference between even though the past, the present, and the future are all happening at the same time. There's something that distinguishes the past between the present and the future. Like the
Okay.
past, yeah, exactly. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So that the change will still exist, and that which is happening is things are still changing. Like wood becoming hot still changes. So do you agree or disagree?
Uh, I'd say I agree, just like broadly.
Okay. Premise two, actualization requires an external mover. So this just means that everything that is moved or everything that changes is changed by something outside of itself. So to stay true to the analogy that we've been using, the potential, like the wood's ability to become hot, it requires an external changer, such as fire, for that actualization, for that potential to be realized.
Okay. What about like quantum stuff? You know how they say like quantum stuff just like pops into existence? What about stuff like that?
Yeah, so even with like quantum physics and everything, it still depends upon the quantum field in order for these things to happen. And it still moves from like due to the conditions of the quantum field, obviously what we can see is that there is potential for quantum particles to appear and disappear, at least to us, without an exact cause. But if the quantum field was not there, then this phenomenon would not happen. So the quantum field presents the ability to have quantum particles that are able to appear and disappear as of right now, according to our knowledge, without absolute known cause other than the quantum field.
Mm. I guess I'm just trying to see like I could see how like without the quantum field they don't, but is that like a cause in the same way like me lighting something on fire heats it up? Like that's a cause, or is it? It feels like
It's
more
that without
like a
you,
setting.
yeah, no. So like you said, what? I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's that without the things that are necessary, right? You would not be able to operate in the same way the things that are necessary, like in regards to the quantum field. The quantum fluctuations would not be able to operate. So
Okay, I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
you provide the quantum field provides the necessary conditions in order for the quantum field to operate.
Okay. So everything that changes needs an external source to the change? Is
Yeah.
that the premise?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay. A thing cannot be both potential and actual in the same respect at the same time. This is just the law of non-contradiction. So it just means that a thing cannot be in the state of potentiality and actuality in the same respect simultaneously. Just like a piece of wood cannot be both actually hot and burning and potentially hot and burning at the same time in the same sense.
So is it just saying something cannot be
A and not
like
A at the same time in the same sense. But
okay?
specifically
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, specifically A and not A is being in a state of potentiality and actuality at the same time in the same sense.
Okay.
All right, so you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Premise 4. There cannot be an infinite regress of hierarchical causes. So this premise, it asserts that in a hierarchical series of causes, there must be a first or necessary cause that sustains the existence or the action of the series as a whole. Um, so in a hierarchical causal chain, this is a type of causation where, excuse me, where each member in the chain depends directly on the previous member in the here and now for its action or existence. So I'll give you an example. Right? Imagine a lamp that is hanging from a ceiling, right? This lamp has the potential to hang 7 feet in the air, right? But in order for this lamp's potential to be actualized, it requires a chain. This chain is connected to another that is connected to a ceiling that actualizes the potential. Now, if I were to cut in the middle of this chain, the lamp's potential to sit 7 feet in the air would cease to exist, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's all in the here and now. It's not a time thing, it's about a dependency thing. If the ceiling were to collapse, the lamp's potential to sit 7 feet in the air would also cease to exist, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what this premise is stating is that in a hierarchical causal chain, it cannot go on for infinity. Eventually, you get to the thing that grounds the existence of the potential that is being actualized, like the ceiling for this example, that grounds and sustains and is properly able to explain why the lamp is actualizing the potential of being 7 feet in the air. So the reason, I don't know if you know that you're on mute, but the reason as to why this can't go on for infinity is because each thing directly depends on the one prior to it or higher to it. Oh, bro, you left. I don't know if you meant to leave. I see you still in the live, so you could come back. Uh, hey, bro, you could come back, bro. I can see if I can invite you again. Hmm. Here, I invited you back up. Yeah, Peter, go live. Hey, Lustrilo, or however you say your name, you dropped down. I don't know if it was by accident, but I'm requesting you back up. You could just click the invite on your screen, and you could come back up. Jimmy Butler to Golden State, crazy. I don't think it moves the. I don't think it moves the needle. Dang. Hey man, I don't know what happened. I'm assuming maybe you got a call or something. I don't know. The Luka trade crazy. The Luka trade crazy. I still don't understand what Dallas is really thinking for real. Um, hey, Lustry Low. I don't know. I don't know what happened to you, bro.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even really like into basketball for real, right? But when I saw Luca get traded, I was wondering what was actually going on.
Yeah,
Right?
insane work, bro.
It's like Buddy's like the whole face of the whole like the team.
Yeah,
And then I see, bro, I genuinely thought it was fake.
yeah,
I was on a call with my cousin at the time too, and I said, "Oh, look, they trolling."
bro. I was like,
I thought it was trolling,
yeah, I was like, bro, like this, like Shams got hacked. That's all I was saying. I was like, oh, bro, he got hacked.
bro. And I said to myself, like after I realized it was all real, like the Lakers are just like grabbing everybody that's just like they got LeBron, bro. They're grabbing the whole Avengers at this point.
Yeah. because we like that for real. Hey, bro, like, listen, I was just talking to this dude. He said he doesn't see how the argument for motion leads to God. And I was running him through the argument for motion, and he just dropped out of nowhere.
I was about to say, what's that got to do with me?
He's still in alive though, but he not.
Oh wait, what was his reason for it?
I don't think he just. I just don't think that he knew the argument for motion. So I was running it with him, and we get to premise 4 right before the conclusion, and then he just dropped down.
Damn. So you couldn't convince somebody of God's existence? That's what I'm saying.
It seems like he just left before it got to where it was gonna go.
You know, me personally, I would have convinced him that premise 1.
You would have, bro. We do need to go over the argument for motion. You already understand it. You know what it's about, bro.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've been understood. Like, but at the same time, F the argument, because F the people that you're gonna present it to. I do not. I hate them. I like. It might be a horrible word to say. Like, I hate them.
I thought you like. Don't you like Danny?
No,
I thought you liked Danny.
I did.
Oh, what he do to you?
I'll tell you after a while.
Oh, it's a story there. All right, man.
Yeah,
Well, it's not like I'm finna get nobody else, bro. Like, look, man. If you disagree, you don't believe that Jesus is God, you don't believe that the Trinity is true, you don't believe in a God, feel free to request that.
I wish you were like. I wish you was I wish you was still as dumb as you were in the beginning, so that all the atheists could still like low key, like kind of like dunk on you. I'm not gonna lie.
Beat me up.
Yeah, like throw you around, like.
That stuff was bad. I wasn't getting smacked, but I was like, bro, I just didn't know what I was talking about.
Nah, you was getting smacked.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was talking about, bro.
Mm.
Like I knew certain arguments, like the Kalam, right? But then it depends on, like, they sit there, they could argue infinite regress or the universe is eternal and yada yada yada. It's like, bro, I'm not trying to argue that.
What are you doing if a Discord atheist comes up and tries to talk to you?
A Discord atheist? I don't know.
Yeah, because the Discord atheists are like so much like smarter than the folks on here. Like when I say so much smarter, I mean so much smarter.
Yeah, I'll just tell them, like, hey, you should go have a conversation with somebody else. What's the deal, bro?
What up, bro?
You chilling?
I mean, I actually agree with everything on the screen. I just kind of had a question about, like, how do you get into like what you do? Like how y'all was just talking about, he wishes that you were like, I guess, a baby again and didn't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that right now. And I joined this panel the other day of like atheists, bro, and they like ate me up, bro.
Hey, I hear you,
like,
man.
threw me left to right, bro. I was just getting beat. And it's like a lot of them just be like, it sound like they be like harboring some type of hurt. And so like they'll pull up a verse. Like a lot of ones they pull up is like Romans 9. And it's like, they be like, well, why is your God evil? Like, why did he already predestine for kids who are unborn yet to choose? And they be eating me up like free will is not really free. It just be so much. And I'd be like, bro, I gotta learn what it's. I think it's you and another dude named Dom.
Yeah, Dom.
Yes, bro. Y'all like the fucking, excuse my friends, bro.
Oh, you chilling. I ain't tripping.
I'm like, yeah, but bro, y'all like the Avengers, bro. I be joining some lives and y'all just like, Dom is a little bit more radical. Like he kind of go a little too crazy.
Nah.
But like, where I'm really asking, like, where do you start? Like, I be hearing y'all say, like, is the word precept?
Oh, precept upon precept.
Yes, bro. I'll be like, bro, what is this? Like, y'all be speaking, like, and then I be hearing, like, I just be listening, bro. I'd have probably joined like 10 lives. I'd be hearing y'all, like, say, like, Mishiach and go from different, like, translations and
Yeah. Dang.
it,
I like saying it like to me it don't be seeming that crazy, but saying it like this, I'll be like, damn, that probably do sound crazy.
yeah,
Uh
like yeah, nah, it's logos and everything. Like y'all be going like
well,
deep.
here, this is what I'd say. I'd say like obviously it's not something that happens like overnight. So the way in
No,
which I started like I mean, I grew up around the Bible, but really starting to learn. My brother at first he put me on to Bible Project. I watched like every Bible Project video there was, right? Them
is
breaking
that like
down.
a show?
Here, it's on YouTube. It's a free. It's a nonprofit. Um. So so it's this channel right here, Bible Project, right?
Okay,
And
yeah.
I mean, they go through so much. You could just go to like their playlist, right? And I mean, they're breaking down so many things, right? But especially like they have this full thing in the Old Testament, which I watched. Sometimes I'll still watch again over and over and over again. Like all these videos, and they're animated. They're really easy to watch. Like you see, this is a complete animated overview of the Old Testament, and then they go Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever. And then on top of that, they have like these other ones where like they'll break down word studies, right?
Yeah,
Um, what does it mean to love God with all your heart? And they'll go to the Hebrew word and stuff, right? This
yeah.
is where I started. Um, and
So
then
this is
from
just like general Bible knowledge, right?
I mean they go deeper too, but you start to understand like, oh shoot, like these different like perspectives and how it connects to the Hebrew and how the biblical story is one narrative. That's their whole goal, is showing how the biblical story is not two books placed into one. It is one complete narrative that details the Messiah and the salvation of the world. And they're showing you these things, right? Um, and then like, you'll get into Bible Project. Their videos are amazing, 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 amazing. Obviously, reading the Bible on the Bible app. Like, I don't know, you have an iPhone or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got plenty of versions of Bibles. I got the iPhone app. I got the Geneva Bible. Uh,
Okay, so on the U version,
yeah, I got that one.
I bet. So on U version, there's a plan by the Bible Project. Um, that here, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if it's this Bible in 90 days one. I'll see if I can find it. I'll probably try to send it to you.
Yeah, no,
But
it's all good, bro. I just had like
no,
I got a lot
but
of
so
stuff.
I'm trying to tell you. So what where I started Bible Project, watch as many videos as you can, because that's just like the easiest, and you kind of get yourself familiar with certain things. You could go and fact check certain things and things like that. And then I was reading the Bible. You have commentaries, and then when I got on TikTok, I got introduced into church fathers. Um,
Y'all told me that last time I got in. You told me to read Church Fathers.
Yeah, so like I progressed in the church fathers. I didn't have like the pleasure of like growing up around like just all these like church fathers and just hear have their literature in a sense. I kind of grew into that. Um, but that like Bible Project is I ain't even gonna hold you. This is where I really started in my like expanding of the knowledge, and then I started listening to what other scholars of the Bible have to say, reading the Bible with commentaries, and then I grew. And then the first church father book that I read was a book called On the Incarnation by Saint Athanasius, and I was like, whoa, like it just
What's
showed the
that title?
beauty of it just showed the beauty, but like your study gets more intense, right? So now when I go to study, I'm reading like the Messianic handbook, right? Um,
That
so here I'll pull it up for you.
on the
Uh,
Incarnation.
on the incarnation, yes, definitely.
That's a
Uh,
book. might just put that in the comment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a book. So
Oh,
like
did you ever
when
like
I
okay, no, finish. My bad.
you said what?
No, I was just gonna go out. I got so many questions, but now finish this one first.
Yeah, so like there's resources that become available like the more that you study. So this is like the Moody Handbook of Messianic Prophecy. Um and you'll see this dude like he breaks down like all these different messianic prophecies, right? And I can go to any of them. Like, oh, how do I find the Messiah in Proverbs? Right? I could click here, or Hebrew Israelites will try to argue that the Messiah is not in Isaiah chapter 7 when it says that the child will be born and his name will be Emmanuel, right? So I could
Right.
click here, and this dude is going to break down the Hebrew. He's going to break down why what they're saying is incorrect and all of that, right? All the other places in which I can find um like these things, he's gonna break down all of that, and now like I have that up here,
Right.
so it takes time to learn and it's gonna take some reading. That's why some people they do videos, which is really cool. Bible Project is good. Inspiring Philosophy does a lot of videos, and it teaches you how to refute like a lot of different things. Watching God Logic and Sam Shamoon, George Bear, Answers for Christ, like they all go live, and you could familiarize yourself with arguments and its refutations, um, which is really good. And then on top of that, you have the study that you do by yourself, and you have things like this. And then I'll just give you this last website, just in case if you have a scripture that you're not necessarily sure of, right? So we'll go to John 14:28, right? Because heretics love to quote this passage, right? John 14:28. This website is called Katina Bible. And when I click on it, they give me the commentaries of all these different church fathers and what they say about this specific verse. And I can
Mm.
go and easily read what they say. And Jackie is saying that they have an app too. But this is how Dom, I, and a lot of different people are accumulating like the proper interpretations of these things is through research, church fathers, commentaries, things like that.
That's dope. What website is it where you guys pull up like the Hebrew
Bible
a
Hub.
lot? Bible Hub. Okay.
So you go to BibleHub.com. And I didn't know how to use Bible Hub at first. I was using a Blue Letter Bible. That's another one. But I mean, obviously, this is on a desktop, but on the iPhone, it looks a little bit different. Like some of these things might be cut off, but you could go to the interlinear, right? You'll click on interlin, and you see it's gonna pull up the Hebrew. It's gonna give it to you, pause verse by verse.
Yeah, see, that's I don't be understanding what y'all be reading. Oh, okay. So you got English and then the top is the Hebrew.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So, and
Gotcha.
the earth was formless and void. Say, for instance, if I wanted to look at this word void or darkness, I would click on this number up here or this letter or this word. I'll click on this number and then it takes me to this,
Mm.
right? So now I see the definition, the meaning. I can see its usage, which sometimes is important. A lot of times it's important, especially when talking about like Jesus is the firstborn or something like that. Go to the way in which this is used, and it'll tell you how it's used in accordance to Jesus or things like that. Um, and it shows you where else this is used, right? The word and void in Genesis 1:2, of emptiness in Isaiah 34, void in Jeremiah 4:23. So then from this, you're able to like just further your study. You'd be like, oh, like, you could do specific word studies and stuff.
Right. Yeah, bro. I would love to hear. I think you and this one other dude live that I just joined. His name is Jay. He doesn't believe in like the Trinity per se. I would love to hear y'all type like debate or whatever you call it, bro. Because it's like his analogy kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I'm like, I still believe that like Jesus is God. You know what
What's
I'm saying?
it? Does he deny the son?
He believes that Jesus was made God. He doesn't believe that Jesus was born God. He believes that he had to basically. He believes that he received his glory once he, I guess, rose, and he was trying to. He believes that the Holy Spirit and the Father are the same, like are one.
One God, the same God, or same person?
He believes that the Holy, like he doesn't. I think he doesn't consider the Holy Ghost the third person.
Okay, so he's kind of Unitarian. For somebody to become God doesn't make any sense, right? Because one, God is unchanging. And what you're saying is that somebody went from not being God to being God, meaning that he changes from not being God to being God,
Bro, I
right?
would love to hear y'all. Like, I would wonder if he would be up for it. It's like the two people. I think I just like how he maintains like his fruit while he is trying to like edify. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't like raise his tone or just
You
you
say his
know.
name is Jay?
Yo, it's on TikTok. It's just JAY, bro. But bro, I've listened to him like 3 times. I go back and forth from like you, John, and him. I still like I believe Jesus is God, and I don't believe he was made God. Like that's my understanding. But
Yeah.
when he explains it, it's like I don't know why it makes sense, bro. Like he just breaks it down and he says like in the beginning it's transformed to Jesus. So he started reading like in Jesus the world was for. I was like, bro, what? Like, and then
Yeah,
he breaks it down like
right.
he goes to another scripture, bro, and he's like, Jesus is the word, but when people say like the word was made flesh, he's talking about God putting his words in Jesus' mouth, and that's how it became flesh. It's just crazy, bro. Like I would
That is
love to
just
see y'all debate, bro.
I'm not even
I'm
gonna
gonna
hold
try
you,
my
bro.
hardest to bring both of y'all, like, bro.
That
He,
makes no sense.
bro, I'm telling you, bro.
That makes no sense, bro. What's it? I'm trying to look up. You say
Bro,
his
I'm gonna
name
make
is
it my goal, bro, because yeah, his name is Jay, bro. He's cool. I'm gonna make it my goal, bro, because
his
I
name
need
is
y'all to
Jay.
know. Yeah, like it's just JY. I'll probably after I leave or step down from the panel, I'll leave. I'll go get his actual act and then just send it to you.
Alright,
Um,
for sure.
you can schedule a peaceful whatever for the purpose of edification. But yeah, bro. I think I had one more question. Have you ever? Because I think right now, bro, I'm in this like little phase where I'm kind of like I think theology is kind of getting in my way. As far as like just going backwards.
Your theology is going backwards?
No, I'm saying like I think theology and like just I like knowledge, so it's like I kind of just be going too far backwards sometimes, trying to like uh just dig up stuff that wasn't privy to us. You know what I'm saying? You know how a lot of people will argue like, oh, this Abrahamic religion was given to us and it's the newest like religion or
Like slavery?
yeah, I
Hmm.
know. I don't look at it like that, but I'm just talking about like a lot of people will say that even like Noah stories, flood stories was stolen from ancient Egyptian stories or just changed. Like, like Jesus is really Isis or, certain stuff like the code of Hammurabi and just different stuff like that.
Hmm.
And did you ever have like a phase? Because y'all are pretty smart. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
I mean, did I ever have a phase where I believed? Well, not like the
where
ISIS
you
and
like going backwards and like, just kind of trying to figure
deconstruct.
out, yeah, deconstruct this like
Yeah, no, like I definitely had that phase where I was trying to like deconstruct my faith and figure out what was true. But then I came to the conclusion that like Jesus is God and that he rose from the dead.
that's the
Um,
biggest thing, most important thing for sure.
yeah, so but in regards to like ISIS and Horus and whatever, inspiring philosophy on YouTube, he has a whole playlist of it was Jesus a copycat savior? Each video is like 5 minutes and is Jesus like ISIS or is Jesus like Wham? And he just breaks those things down. Like just the historical evidence that we have, what the scholars say about it or whatever, and just leaves it at that. Like there's not a lot of good claims for the things that people claim. Like even the dude that you're talking about, Jay, like what he's saying, if you understand, then you'll see that what he's saying doesn't make sense. Like trying
Yeah,
to
I'm
ascribe
still
certain.
on milk, bro. I'm still on milk, so it's like when I
Yeah,
join
no,
these,
that's all good.
yeah, I'm cautious, like for sure, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's all good, bro. Like what's the name? You can send me his ad. I'll see if I can find him.
He said schedule a session for the purpose of getting cooked. I think I've seen Bear the image somewhere before.
No, Bear, you can follow Bear. Bear goes live. Um, Christ is Lord. He's in here as well. He goes live as well. Eastern Orthodox dude, really, really good. One of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. His at name is earth.wind. Oh, he just commented. You can follow him as well. Um, I think those are the only people in here right now that go live.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
yeah, no problem, man. God
I
bless you,
want
bro.
to like y'all a lot, bro. So I appreciate it. Yeah, God bless you, bro.
God bless you too.
I really, you probably got to keep.
Oh, you good, you good. Oh, I'm finna get ready to go. I appreciate you guys staying. Uh, I don't know if TikTok ever gonna let me get my viewers back.
Why didn't you try without Twitch?
Oh,
I
it's
said test it
YouTube.
out.
It's
Yeah,
YouTube
well,
and
try
Twitch.
without YouTube and Twitch and see if it makes a difference.
Oh. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Elijah?
I'm good. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I just I'm doing good, but I had a quick question.
What's up?
So I was just reading the Gospel of Matthew, and I just wanted to know your interpretation of chapter 24, verse 34.
Mm, Matthew 24. Oh,
You can start at 32.
okay. Hey. All right. From the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as its branches become tender and puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see all these things, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Um, so my interpretation, what do you mean?
As in, so like 34, where it says, I say to you, this generation will not pass away till all these things take place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is he talking specifically about that specific generation that's living right now that's hearing those words, or is he talking about like the believers of all ages?
Yeah, it would be like the believers of all ages. Like this generation is like he issues in a new generation of believers, right? So after him, this generation will not pass away until everything that's been talked about in Matthew 24, which is obviously the end of times, um, takes place. He's telling us these things that would take place so that we can like be sure one in who he is and that he has knowledge and control over all these things, and that he speaks the words of truth. So we can hold true to his word that heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. So we could cling to his word. But it's not saying that, oh, all of these things are going to take place necessarily um, before the disciples are like unalive. That's not
Okay.
like, yeah, that's not my interpretation of it.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. Okay. Yeah, that was my question for that one. I had another one as well.
Yeah, that's, I was just gonna say that too. George says, in my view, um, I don't know how to say that word, George, but in talking about the destruction of the second temple, so like, yeah, and I understand, I know that there's church fathers that articulate it like this as well, um, which talks about that Matthew 24 is also talking about the destruction of the second temple as well as like the end times. And there's good historical evidence as well that some of these things were fulfilled in the destruction of the second temple.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there is a verse where he talks about I think the destruction of the first temple, and he's talking about like oh, not the first one actually. I think he was talking about Daniel's prophecy about maybe like the events of the Maccabees. So
Okay. In Daniel 9.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember the specific verse. I'll try to find it real quick.
And I mean, in Daniel 9, he talks about the destruction of the second temple starting in chapter 9, verse 24. Starting in verse 24, he talks about the destruction of the temple, of the second temple
Right.
specifically.
I'm talking specifically about the book of Matthew. So I think it's either chapter 24 or 23.
Of
No,
Matthew?
it's 24. Yeah.
Okay. You talk about the destruction of the temple, where in starting in verse 1, it says, Jesus left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out the buildings of the temple, but he answered them, you see all these? Do you not? Truly I say to you, there will not be left one stone upon another that will not be thrown down.
Yes, but he does mention like Daniel somewhere here. I just don't remember exactly where it was. Oh, here it is. Yeah, chapter 24 verse 15.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, so when you see the abomination of desolation spoken by the prophet Daniel standing in a holy place, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one who is on the housetop go down and take what is in his house. Yeah.
Okay, so is this talking about those same things that'll happen before he comes?
Is he still talking about the same thing that happens before he comes?
Yeah, like a second coming.
I mean, I would hold to like the same view that George is saying, that it's like a like dual fulfillment, like both things.
Yeah, I understand that. I just don't understand like which ones occur and then which ones are to come.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Right.
I think some of the things that occur, I think, well, one, I think you should look at like what the church fathers say, but and certain things that come, like you see the abomination of desolation spoken of prophet Daniel standing in the holy place. I'm pretty sure this happens historically. I think some church fathers like talk about that, of like when this exactly happens, right? Because I think this is Nero that does this. But I'm not 100% sure. Then if anyone says, look, here is the Christ, these are things that have all like happened before as well. Um, but I think it is like a dual thing. Like I think it applies to both the immediate thing, and you see this happening in the Bible. You have a short-term prophecy and a long-term prophecy that go hand in hand. Um, so Jesus is talking about the destruction of the second temple, but then he's also talking about his second coming. And I think both of these things will be able to be fulfilled. The first one with the destruction of the second temple, we've seen these signs, and then I think there'll be things that are similar. Or from right here, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the heaven. Like maybe this will be the signs of like the actual end. Then will appear in heaven the signs of the Son of Man, and all the tribes of earth will mourn.
Okay. And this isn't really that difficult of a question. It was just more so for this is my own thoughts. If you go to chapter 23, verse 37,
Mm-hmm.
it reads. Hold on, I think it's 36 actually.
Truly I say to you, all these things will come
34.
upon this generation.
34.
Oh,
34.
34.
34. Yeah. Is he saying that he's the one that sent the prophets like after his passing here?
Therefore, here, we'll start at verse 29. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the monuments of the righteous, saying, if we had lived in the days of our father, we have not taken part of them in shedding the blood of the prophets. Thus you witness against yourselves that you are sons of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of your fathers. You serpents, you brood of vipers, how are you to escape being sentenced to hell? Therefore I sent you prophets and wise men and scribes, some of you who you will kill and crucify, and some you will flog in your synagogues and persecute from town to town, so that on you may come all the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah son of Barachiah. So you're saying that in verse 34, is he going to send us prophets and wise men and scribes after him?
Right. So the reason I asked this question is because people say, like, let's say for example, like Muslims or like Alex O'Connor would say, like, there's no specific phrase or phraseology that Jesus says where he kind of like asserts himself to be God. But I see this as him specifically saying he's the one that's sending the prophets, right?
Yeah, no,
So if he was the
absolutely.
one that's sending the prophets, wouldn't this just be him saying that he is God in some way?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that was just my question.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
God
I
bless you,
appreciate it,
bro.
man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you too.
All right. I'm gonna talk to you later.
All right.
Hold on, what verse is there?
Is it
I don't know.
Matthew?
Does it matter? Because when are you ever gonna do
Yes, it
Bible
does.
study again?
See, we're on live. He's more than welcome to talk about the Bible on live, but he'll never text me to talk about Mark ever.
You're lying. You're lying.
The phone goes both ways.
Therefore, what's the name? Matthew 23:34.
Hold on.
Is that your sister, brother?
No, this is my fiance. You know what I mean?
Y'all do look alike, so I don't know.
We do not look alike.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, he takes
Just
it
a
as a
little bit.
compliment.
Yeah, no, we're not. I'm not saying Elijah. I am not. No, bro. Nigga, just stop. Stop.
Nah, I appreciate that, man.
How do we look
It was
alike?
not
Light.
same facial structure.
I can see it, like looking right there. I can see.
Am I wrong?
Nah, if you saying that I look good, then I appreciate it. If you're
I
not
did
saying
not say
that,
that. Nigga, I did not say that.
though.
I did not say
So
that.
then what, you saying I'm ugly?
I didn't say that about
But
you.
I remember
I'm just saying, y'all got the
years
same
ago.
facial structure.
Years ago, I had to use this verse to combat a Hebrew Israelite that was saying that, like, the story of Cain and Abel is those aren't real people. They're just like allegories. And I had to use this verse that Jesus like makes the connection between Abel's blood and Zechariah's blood. So you would also have to be denying that Zechariah was an actual person. This was way before TikTok.
When did it? Wait, where was this on? Was this like in real life?
This was in real life, bro.
Damn.
You
So you have like actual in-person debates with them.
bro, I don't be cool. Don't say nothing crazy about my God, bro. Don't say nothing crazy about my God.
Hey,
Like
I have a question. Are you gonna go live next week?
I don't think so.
You can't just go live from your phone?
I don't know.
Wait, what's going on? Huh?
Don't worry about that, bro.
Nah, huh? Alexis, what's going on?
We're going out of town.
Ah, yeah, he got his phone. He'll be fine.
Nah.
You're gonna have
Yeah.
to coax him into doing it because he hates doing stuff off his phone. He likes his.
Yeah.
Hey, don't nobody
I
care. You're
like
gonna
to
do it
be
off
able
the phone.
to, I like to be able to show like, oh, this is where the verse is at. Where
Hey, bro, people got their own. Bro, people can do it on their own.
Is there a time difference out there?
time and no, I don't think so.
How far is it from there? Like, where y'all going?
Just Arizona.
Hmm.
Yeah. We're gonna be there for like a week.
Are you
And you
sure
gonna
you're
be
not
live on
siblings
your
if you're
phone.
not siblings kiss?
Hey, yo.
What if I just show you the ring? Is that to her?
Yeah.
You gonna say that's somebody else's ring?
Yeah. She just wear that for decoration for real, huh? He said
So, like,
if we're not siblings kiss is crazy. Ew. That's
Nah,
I'm trying to
not
prove
good
cooties.
a
enough.
point. Wait, actually do it. Prove it to him.
Nah,
Bro, we
that's
do not
that's
look alike.
that's
Yes, you
cooties.
do.
That's cooties. You can't do that.
His mom and my mom don't look any like completely different people, completely different shades, hair textures. Like
And some of y'all still look alike.
Nah, bro. I don't think. Look,
One's just darker than the other. My point, bro. Oh my gosh. And doing that did not serve you justice. Y'all
bro,
look
we
alike.
look different. You just saying that because you racist for real.
Okay.
Yeah, and see no refutation.
If I was racist, I would have
Twins?
said listen. If I was racist, I would have said I look like y'all too.
You do. People be
No,
calling me,
I
bro.
mean-
I that should be pissing
Somebody
me
called
off.
you diet light yesterday.
Yeah, bro. That actually
Wait, somebody called you what?
diet
Diet
light.
light.
That
Diet
actually
light?
got under my
So
skin,
wait, they think
bro.
like you're like a diet trans baddie?
Crazy. You know what they be saying about me though.
Bro, what? Wait, what? Alexis, what?
Yeah, exactly. This your favorite? I ain't say that about you.
I heard somebody. I was watching the live. Somebody called you a trans baddie.
They did call you
Yeah,
a
somebody
trans
said
baddie.
that if I did a few, if I changed up my face just a little bit, I'd be a little
No.